The man's skull cracked against the tile floor like dropped glass. His lips were already blue. No one moved, except her. Claire Evans had seen death before. 22 years as an ER nurse meant she could smell it walking through a door. But this wasn't her hospital. This wasn't her shift. She was off duty, standing in a pawn shop at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, trying to sell her grandmother's wedding ring just to make rent. And now a stranger was dying at her feet. She didn't think. She dropped. Her knees hit the floor hard enough to bruise. Her hands found his chest. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. The shop owner screamed into his phone. A teenager filming on his phone backed into a shelf of vintage watches. Claire didn't look up. She just kept pushing, kept breathing for him. When the ambulance arrived, his heart was beating again. She didn't know his name, didn't know what he didn't know that saving him would destroy her life, and then rebuild it into something she never imagined. If you want to see how far a single decision can ripple, how one woman's courage tore down an empire built on silence, then stay with me until the end. Drop a comment with your city. I want to see how far this story travels. Claire's apartment smelled like burnt coffee and overdue bills. She stood in the kitchen the next morning, staring at the empty spot on her counter where the ring box used to sit. She'd walked out of that pawn shop with $300 and a receipt. The ring was gone. The man was alive. Fair trade, she thought. Her grandmother would have agreed. Her phone buzzed. A text from her coworker, Lena. "You're trending." Claire frowned. She opened Twitter. The video had 4 million views. It was grainy, shot from a bad angle, but clear enough. Her face, her hands. The man's chest rising after 2 minutes of CPR. The comments were a waterfall of praise. Hero, legend. This is what healthcare should be. She closed the app, turned off her phone. She didn't want to be famous. She wanted to pay rent. Silverbrook General Hospital sat on the north side of the city like a glass and steel fortress. Claire had worked there since she was 24. She knew every hallway, every stairwell, every shortcut through the labyrinth of departments that made up the largest trauma center in 3 counties. She clocked in at 6:58 a.m., 2 minutes early like always. Lena was waiting by the lockers. "Did you see it?" "I saw it." "Claire, you're everywhere. People are calling the hospital. The mayor's office tweeted about you." Claire pulled on her scrubs. "Great. Maybe they'll fix the AC in the break room." Lena laughed, but it died fast. "Joanna's looking for you." Joanna Marks, director of nursing, a woman whose smile never reached her eyes and whose favorite word was protocol. Claire's stomach tightened. "Now?" She sent an email at 6, said it's urgent. Joanna's office was on the 3rd floor, tucked behind a wall of administrative assistants who looked at Claire like she'd tracked mud across a white carpet. One of them buzzed her through without a word. Joanna sat behind a desk that could have doubled as a dining table. She didn't stand when Claire entered, didn't smile. "Sit." Claire sat. Joanna folded her hands. Her nails were perfect. Her blouse was pressed. Everything about her screamed control. "I assume you've seen the video." "I have." "Do you understand what you've done?" Claire blinked. "I saved someone's life. You performed a medical intervention while off duty, outside a hospital setting, without consulting legal or administrative oversight." Joanna's voice was flat, clinical. "You exposed this hospital to liability. I was certified. I followed protocol. The man had no pulse. You were not on hospital grounds. You were not on the clock. You acted independently, and now the hospital's name is attached to a viral video we didn't authorize." Joanna leaned forward. "Do you know how many lawsuits we're fielding this quarter? How many compliance audits?" Claire's jaw tightened. "He would have died." "That's not the point." "Then what is?" Joanna's eyes were ice. "The point, Ms. Evans, is that you don't get to be a hero on our time. You don't get to make us look negligent by comparison." The words landed like a slap. Claire stood. "I didn't make you look negligent. You do that on your own." Joanna's expression didn't change. "You're suspended. 2 weeks, unpaid, pending review." "For what?" "Conduct unbecoming, unauthorized representation. Take your pick." Joanna opened a file on her desk. "You're dismissed." Claire turned and walked out before her hands started shaking. That's it. The suspension letter arrived by email before she reached her car. It was 3 pages long. Legal jargon wrapped around a single message. Shut up and disappear. She sat in the parking lot and read it twice. Her phone buzzed, a number she didn't recognize. She answered. Hello? Miss Evans? The voice was male, calm, professional. This is Lieutenant Derek Mallory with the Silverbrook Police Department. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the incident last night. Her chest tightened. What kind of questions? Routine follow-up. The individual you assisted is still under observation. We're gathering statements. Is he okay? A pause. He's stable. Can you come to the station this afternoon? She glanced at the clock. It was barely 8. Sure. What time? 2 o'clock. Ask for me at the front desk. He hung up before she could respond. The Silverbrook PD headquarters was a squat brick building that smelled like old coffee and floor wax. Claire signed in at the front desk and waited. Lieutenant Mallory appeared after 10 minutes. He was younger than she expected, mid-30s, buzz-cut, eyes that didn't blink much. He shook her hand and led her to a small room with a table and 2 chairs. No recording equipment, no mirror, just them. He sat. She sat. First, he said, thank you. What you did took guts. She nodded. Second, I need to know exactly what happened. From the moment you walked into that shop. She told him, every detail. The man stumbling, the collapse, the CPR, the ambulance. Mallory took notes, didn't interrupt. When she finished, he set down his pen. Did he say anything to you before he collapsed? No. Did you notice anyone else in the shop? Anyone following him? She frowned. No, why? Mallory leaned back. The man you saved is named Aaron Cross. He's a contractor, works in logistics. Okay. That's all I can tell you. Claire waited. Mallory's expression didn't change. You did the right thing. But if anyone contacts you, reporters, strangers, anyone asking about him, don't answer. Forward it to me. He slid a card across the table. She picked it up. Why would they contact me? Probably they won't, but if they do. He stood. Thanks for coming in. She walked out more confused than when she'd entered. By the time she got home, the story had evolved. News outlets were running with it. Local nurse saves mystery man in heroic act. The hospital had released a statement. We are reviewing the matter internally and cannot comment further. Translation, we're covering our asses. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Claire Evans? A woman's voice, sharp, fast. This is Monica Trent with Channel 7 News. We'd love to interview you about... Claire hung up. 3 more calls in the next hour. She stopped answering. Fuck. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept replaying Joanna's words. You don't get to be a hero on our time. She'd worked 22 years at that hospital. Doubled shifts when they were short-staffed, trained new hires, covered holidays. She'd held the hands of dying patients when their families didn't show. She'd cleaned up messes no one else wanted to touch. And now she was a liability. She stared at the ceiling until her alarm went off. Well, the second email arrived at 6 a.m. Subject: termination of employment, immediate effect. Claire's hands went numb. She opened it. Dear Ms. Evans, following our internal review, Silverbrook General Hospital has determined that your actions on the evening of April 14th constituted a breach of policy, professional conduct standards, and contractual obligations. Effective immediately, your employment is terminated. You are not to return to hospital grounds. Your final paycheck and benefits information will be mailed within 14 business days. Regards, Human Resources Department. No signature, no phone number. No explanation beyond the bureaucratic coldness of breach of policy. Claire read it 3 times. Then she threw her phone across the room. Lena called an hour later. Claire let it go to voicemail. The message was short. I'm so sorry. They're saying you violated HIPAA, that you used the hospital's name without permission. It's bullshit, Claire. Everyone knows it. But they're scared. Call me. Claire didn't call back. She sat on her couch and tried to process it. 22 years, gone. Not because she'd done something wrong, because she'd done something right at the wrong time. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. She ignored it. Then another. And another. She turned the phone off and threw it on the cushion next to her. The apartment was too quiet. She could hear the refrigerator humming, the neighbor's TV through the wall, her own breathing. She got up and walked to the window, pulled back the curtain. The street below was normal, cars parked, a couple walking a dog. Nothing unusual. She let the curtain fall. Tab. By noon, the news was everywhere. Hospital fires nurse who saved man's life. The comments section was a war zone. Half the internet was furious. The other half said she deserved it for breaking the rules. The hospital released another statement. Personnel matters are confidential. We stand by our decision. Someone had leaked her employment record. 22 years of spotless performance reviews, 3 commendations, 0 disciplinary actions, until now. A reporter from the Silverbrook Tribune called it a chilling message to healthcare workers everywhere. A state senator tweeted, "When we punish people for saving lives, we've lost our way." The hospital's PR team went silent. Claire's bank account had $417 in it. Rent was due in 6 days. Her health insurance would expire at midnight. She sat on her couch and stared at the wall. The knock came at 8 p.m. She wasn't expecting anyone. She thought about ignoring it. It came again, firmer. She opened the door. A man in a dark suit stood in the hallway. Late 40s, clean-shaven, eyes that cataloged everything in half a second. "Miss Evans?" "Yeah." He held up a badge, Federal, Department of Defense. "I'm Agent Ruiz. I need a few minutes of your time." Her stomach dropped. "What's this about?" "Aaron Cross, sub." She didn't move. Ruiz's expression softened, just slightly. "You're not in trouble, but we need to talk. May I come in?" She stepped aside. Halt. Ruiz didn't sit. He stood near the window, hands clasped in front of him like he was used to waiting. "How much do you know about the man you saved?" he asked. "Nothing. Police said he was a contractor." "That's partially true." Ruiz turned to face her. "Aaron Cross is a senior intelligence operative. He works in counterproliferation, weapons tracking, high-value targets." Claire's pulse spiked. "What does that have to do with me?" "The night you saved him, he was carrying classified information, physical documents, time-sensitive." Ruiz paused. "If he died, those documents would have been compromised, potentially catastrophic." "I didn't see any documents." "I know, but others did, and now there are people very interested in what happened that night." Claire's throat went dry. "What kind of people?" Ruiz didn't answer directly. "Have you noticed anything unusual since the incident? Strangers watching you? Vehicles parked outside?" "No." "Good. Keep it that way. Don't talk to reporters. Don't post online. If anyone approaches you, call me immediately." He handed her a card. Plain white, just a phone number. "Am I in danger?" Ruiz met her eyes. "I don't think so, but Cross's work makes enemies, and right now you're connected to him. That makes you visible." "The hospital fired me." "I know." "So what am I supposed to do?" Ruiz's jaw tightened. "For now, lay low. We're handling it." "Handling what?" He moved toward the door. "I'll be in touch." "Wait." But he was already gone. Walked. Claire locked the door, checked the windows, pulled the curtains. She sat on the couch and stared at the card. Just a number. No name. No agency. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. "Hello?" Silence. Then breathing. "Who is this?" A click. The line went dead. Claire's hands were shaking. She dialed Ruiz's number. It rang 4 times, then voicemail. No message. Just a beep. "This is Claire Evans. Someone just called me. I think—" She stopped. "Just call me back." She hung up. The apartment was too quiet. She got up, locked the deadbolt, put a chair under the doorknob. Then she sat in the dark and waited. Sleep didn't come easy. When it did, it was shallow and fractured. She woke at 2 a.m. to the sound of a car door slamming outside. She went to the window, but saw nothing. At 4 a.m., she gave up and made coffee. By sunrise, her nerves were shot. She kept checking her phone. No messages, no calls. At 7:30, Lena texted, "Can we meet? I need to talk to you." Claire stared at the message, then typed back, "Where?" "Coffee place on 3rd. 9 o'clock? Okay." The coffee shop was half empty. Lena was already there, sitting in a corner booth with her back to the wall. She looked tired, older than she had 2 days ago. Claire slid into the seat across from her. "Thanks for coming," Lena said. "What's going on?" Lena glanced around, then leaned in. "They're going after everyone who supported you." Claire's stomach sank. "What do you mean?" "Joanna held a meeting yesterday. Said anyone caught talking to the media about you would be terminated. Anyone who posted anything online defending you would face disciplinary action." Lena's voice dropped. 2 nurses were written up this morning for liking tweets that called the hospital out. Claire felt sick. "Are you serious?" "They're scared, Claire. The video made them look bad. So now they're trying to control the narrative, and they're doing it by silencing us. That's illegal. Probably. But who's going to fight it? Most of us can't afford to lose our jobs." Lena's eyes were red. "I'm sorry. I wanted to say something. I wanted to stand up for you. But I have a kid. I can't—" "I know," Claire said. "I get it." Lena looked down at her coffee. "There's something else." "What?" "There's a rumor going around about the guy you saved." Claire went still. "What kind of rumor?" "That he wasn't just some random contractor, that he's military or intelligence, and that the hospital knew." Lena looked up. "They're saying Joanna got a call the night it happened. Before the video went viral, someone told her to keep it quiet." "Who?" "I don't know. But the timing's weird, right? You save a guy's life, and 12 hours later you're fired?" Claire's mind was racing. "Did anyone else hear this?" "Just whispers. People are afraid to talk." Lena reached across the table and squeezed Claire's hand. "Be careful. I don't think this is over." Claire left the coffee shop and walked 3 blocks before she felt like she could breathe again. Her phone rang. "Ruiz." She answered. "Hello? Where are you?" His voice was clipped. "Walking home. Why?" "Don't go home. Not yet." Her pulse spiked. "What's wrong?" "We need to talk in person. There's a parking garage on 5th and Maple, 3rd floor, 20 minutes. "Why can't we—" "20 minutes, Ms. Evans?" He hung up. The parking garage smelled like oil and concrete. Claire took the stairs to the 3rd floor. It was nearly empty. Just a few cars scattered across the lot. Ruiz was leaning against a black sedan. He straightened when he saw her. "What's going on?" she asked. "Aaron Cross was moved to a secure facility last night," Ruiz said. "Standard procedure after an incident like this. But there was a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The transport convoy was ambushed. 3 agents injured. Cross is missing." Claire's legs went weak. "Missing?" "We don't know if he was taken or if he escaped. We're still piecing it together." Ruiz's expression was grim. "But here's what we do know. Whoever hit that convoy knew the route, knew the timing. That information was classified." "You think there's a leak?" "I know there's a leak." Ruiz crossed his arms. "And right now, you're one of the few people with a direct connection to Cross, which makes you a target." "For who?" "We're not sure yet, but until we find Cross and plug the leak, you're vulnerable." Claire's mind was spinning. "So what do I do?" "You stay low. You don't talk to anyone. You don't go anywhere alone." He pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. "Recognize this man?" The image was grainy, pulled from security footage. A man in a baseball cap and jacket. Mid-40s. Nondescript. "No," Claire said. "Should I?" "He was at the pawn shop the night you saved Cross. He left right after the ambulance arrived." Ruiz pocketed the phone. "We've been trying to ID him. So far, nothing." "You think he's involved?" "I think he was watching. And if he was watching then, he might be watching now." Claire felt cold. "What do you want me to do?" "For now? Go home. Lock your doors. Don't open them for anyone except me. I'll have someone keep an eye on your building." "For how long?" "Until we find Cross." No. Claire went home, locked the doors, closed the blinds. She sat on the couch and tried to make sense of it all. A man she didn't know. A life she'd saved without thinking. And now people were hunting him. Maybe hunting her. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should have stayed out of it. Her blood ran cold. She screenshotted the message and forwarded it to Ruiz. His reply came 30 seconds later. Don't respond. I'm sending someone now. She set the phone down and stood up. Walked to the window. Pulled the curtain back just enough to see the street. A dark SUV was parked across the street. Engine off. Windows tinted. It hadn't been there 10 minutes ago. To meet. The knock came 5 minutes later. Ms. Evans, federal agent, open up. She looked through the peephole. A woman, 30s, short hair, badge visible. Claire opened the door but kept the chain on. ID. The woman held it up. FBI. Agent Kira Voss, Agent Ruiz sent me. Can I come in? Claire unhooked the chain. Voss stepped inside and immediately went to the window. She glanced out, then pulled the curtain shut. You see the SUV? Yeah? It's ours, 2 agents. They'll stay there until we have a better handle on the situation. Voss turned to face her. Ruiz filled me in. I'm here to make sure you're safe. Safe from who? We're still working that out. Voss sat down on the arm of the couch. But here's what we know. Aaron Cross was working on something big. A trafficking network. Weapons. The kind of stuff that gets people killed if they get too close. Claire's stomach turned. And I'm involved because I saved him? You're involved because someone thinks you know something. I don't know anything. Doesn't matter. Perception is reality in this business. Voss pulled out her phone. Did Cross say anything to you before he collapsed? Even something small? No, he just fell. You're sure? Claire thought back. The pawn shop, the man stumbling, his face pale, his hand reaching out. Wait. He grabbed my wrist, she said slowly. Voss sat up. What? Just for a second, right before he went down, he grabbed my wrist. I thought he was just trying to steady himself. Did he say anything? No, just... He looked at me, like he was trying to tell me something. Voss leaned forward. Show me. Your wrist. Claire held out her arm. Voss examined it, then pulled out a small flashlight and shined it on Claire's skin. There, barely visible, a smudge of ink. Numbers. Voss took a photo, then looked at Claire. Did you wash your hands after? I don't think so. I was in shock. The ambulance came, they took him, and I just left. Voss was already typing on her phone. These numbers, they could be coordinates or a code. Either way, Cross marked you. Marked me? He gave you information, and he did it in a way that wouldn't be obvious. Voss's expression was hard, which means he knew he was in danger, and he trusted you to carry it out. Claire felt like the floor had dropped out. I didn't ask for this. No one ever does. Voss stood. But you're in it now, and we need to figure out what those numbers mean before someone else does. Voss made a call, spoke in low tones. Hung up. We're moving you, she said. Moving me where? Safe house, just for a few days, until we sort this out. I can't just leave. You have nothing more important than staying alive, Voss cut in. Pack a bag. You've got 10 minutes. Claire didn't argue. She went to her bedroom and stuffed clothes into a duffel, toiletries, her phone charger. When she came out, Voss was at the window again. Ready? Yeah. Voss opened the door. Stay close to me. Don't stop for anything. They walked down the hallway, took the stairs instead of the elevator. Voss moved like someone who'd done this 100 times. Outside, the SUV was waiting. Back door open. Claire climbed in. Voss slid in next to her. The door locked automatically. The driver didn't look back, just put the vehicle in gear and pulled into traffic. They drove for 40 minutes, out of the city, into the suburbs, then further, into an area Claire didn't recognize. The safe house was a small, ranch-style home at the end of a cul-de-sac. Unremarkable. Forgettable. Voss led her inside. The interior was clean but sparse. A couch, a table, a small kitchen, 2 bedrooms. You'll stay here, Voss said. Don't answer the door. Don't go outside. Don't use your phone unless it's an emergency. How long? As long as it takes. Claire set her bag down. What happens now? Now we figure out what Cross wanted you to know. Voss pulled out her phone and showed Claire the photo of the numbers again. These could be the key to everything, or nothing, but until we know, you're our best lead. I'm not a lead, I'm just a nurse who did CPR. Voss's expression softened. You're more than that now, whether you like it or not. Voss left an hour later, told Claire to lock the door behind her. Claire did. Then she stood in the middle of the strange house and tried to process it all. 2 days ago, she was a nurse, overworked, underpaid, invisible. Now she was in a safe house, protected by federal agents, marked by a man she'd never met. She sat on the couch and stared at her wrist. The numbers were still there, faint but legible. She pulled out her phone, opened the Notes app, typed them in. 38.9072/-77. 0369. She stared at them. Then she opened Google Maps and entered the coordinates. The pin dropped on a location in Washington, D.C., the National Archives. Her phone buzzed. A text from Voss. Don't do anything stupid. Claire's heart skipped. She typed back, How did you know? We're monitoring your phone for your safety. Don't go digging. Let us handle it. Claire set the phone down, but her mind was already racing. Why would Cross mark her with coordinates to the National Archives? What was there, and why did it matter enough to risk his life? She didn't sleep that night, just sat on the couch and stared at the numbers on her wrist. At 3 a.m., her phone rang. Ruiz. She answered. Hello? We found him. Her breath caught. Cross? He's alive, barely. He's asking for you. For me? Why? I don't know, but he won't talk to anyone else. Ruiz's voice was tight. We're sending a car. Be ready in 10 minutes. Where are we going? Walter Reed. He's in critical condition. This might be your only chance to talk to him. The line went dead. Claire stood. Her hands were shaking. 10 minutes. She grabbed her jacket, her shoes. Headlights flashed through the window. The car was here. She opened the door. A different agent. Young. Professional. Ms. Evans? Yeah. Let's go. She climbed into the back seat. The car pulled away. And for the first time since this started, Claire felt like she was moving toward answers instead of away from them. Walter Reed Medical Center loomed like a fortress. The car pulled up to a side entrance. 2 armed guards stood at the door. The agent led Claire through a maze of hallways, down an elevator, into a restricted wing. Ruiz was waiting outside a room. He looked exhausted. He's weak, Ruiz said. You've got 5 minutes, maybe less. What do I ask him? Whatever he wants to tell you. Ruiz opened the door. The room was dim. Machines beeped softly. Aaron Cross lay in the bed, pale and bruised. An IV in his arm, bandages across his chest. He opened his eyes when she entered. You came, he rasped. Claire stepped closer. They said you wanted to see me. I did. He coughed, winced. You saved my life. I was just doing my job. No. His voice was thin but firm. You were the only one who moved. Everyone else froze. You didn't. She didn't know what to say. Cross reached out. His hand trembled. The numbers. On your wrist. You found them? Yeah. Good. He closed his eyes. I couldn't risk carrying it. They were already watching, so I gave it to you. What is it? Proof. He opened his eyes. There's a file. National Archives, buried deep. It exposes a trafficking ring. Weapons, officials, people you wouldn't believe. Claire's pulse hammered. Why me? Because you're not part of the system. You're clean. They can't touch you the way they can touch us. He coughed again. Blood flecked his lips. Get the file. Give it to Ruiz. He'll know what to do. Why can't you just tell him? Cross's expression darkened. Because I don't know who else is compromised. But you're outside. You're safe. I don't feel safe. You will be. Once this is over. His hand tightened on hers. Promise me. Promise you'll get it. Claire looked at him. This man she'd saved, this stranger who'd marked her with a burden she never asked for. I promise. Cross exhaled, relaxed. Good. A monitor started beeping faster. A nurse rushed in. You need to leave, now. Claire backed toward the door. Cross's eyes locked on hers one last time. Thank you, he whispered. Then the room erupted into chaos. Doctors, nurses, machines screaming. Ruiz pulled Claire out into the hallway. What did he say? Ruiz demanded. Claire's mind was spinning. He said there's a file at the National Archives, evidence of a trafficking ring. Ruiz's face went pale. Did he say who? No, just that it's buried, and that he needed someone outside the system to get it. Ruiz looked at the door, the chaos inside, then back at Claire. We need to move fast, he said. If Cross is right, then everyone involved knows he's alive, and they'll be coming for that file. So what do we do? Ruiz pulled out his phone, started typing. We get it first. 3 hours later, Claire was in a conference room with Ruiz, Voss, and 2 other agents she didn't recognize. A laptop was open on the table, a map of the National Archives on the screen. The coordinates Cross gave you point to a specific vault, Voss said. Restricted access, government documents. Most of it's been digitized, but some physical files remain. How do we get in? Claire asked. We don't, Ruiz said. You do. Claire stared at him. What? You're not law enforcement. You're not military. You're a civilian with a legitimate reason to be there. Ruiz leaned forward. We'll get you credentials, research access. You go in, find the file, and bring it out. You want me to steal classified documents? We want you to retrieve evidence of a crime, Voss corrected. There's a difference. Not legally. Ruiz's expression hardened. Cross trusted you. He gave you those numbers for a reason. If we send someone official, it'll tip them off. But if you go in as a researcher, no one will look twice. Claire's heart was pounding. And if I get caught? You won't, Voss said. We'll have eyes on you the whole time, in and out, 30 minutes. Claire looked at the map, at the vault, at the coordinates burned into her wrist. When? She asked. Tomorrow morning, Ruiz said, before they have time to move it. That night, Claire couldn't sleep again. She lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. 24 hours ago, she was unemployed, broke, invisible. Now she was about to walk into the National Archives and steal evidence that could bring down people she couldn't even name. Her phone buzzed. A text from Lena. Are you okay? I haven't heard from you. Claire stared at the message, then typed back. I'm fine. Just laying low. I'll call you soon. She didn't send it. Instead, she deleted it and turned off her phone. Because the truth was, she wasn't fine. And she had no idea if she'd ever be again. The morning came too fast. Voss picked her up at 7 a.m., handed her a lanyard with a fake ID. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, independent researcher. Your cover is simple, Voss said as they drove. You're researching Cold War-era documents for a book. You requested access weeks ago. It was approved. You're expected. What if someone asks questions? Answer them. You're a researcher. Act like one. Voss glanced at her. You'll be fine. Claire didn't feel fine. They pulled up to the archives, a massive building, imposing. Voss handed her an earpiece. We'll be listening. If anything goes wrong, say the word assistance and we'll pull you out. Claire put the earpiece in. And the file? Vault 12, Section D, Row 38, Box 471. It'll be marked with a red stripe. Voss pulled up a photo on her phone. Get it and walk out. Don't run. Don't hesitate. Just walk. Claire took a breath. Okay. She got out of the car and walked toward the entrance. Her hands were shaking. She forced them still. Inside, the archives were quiet, reverent. A security guard checked her ID, scanned her bag. Purpose of visit? Research, Claire said. Her voice was steady. Cold War documents. He nodded, waved her through. She followed the signs to the research wing, down a corridor, through a set of double doors. A librarian sat at a desk. Older woman, glasses. Name? Dr. Sarah Mitchell. The librarian typed into her computer, nodded. You're cleared for Vault 12. Section D, sign here. Claire signed. The librarian handed her a key card. 30 minutes. If you need more time, let me know. Thank you. Claire walked through another door, down a narrow hallway, to a heavy steel door marked Vault 12. She swiped the card. The door clicked open. Inside, rows of metal shelves stretched into darkness, each one labeled, each one filled with boxes. She found Section D, Row 38, Box 471, red stripe. She pulled it down. It was heavier than she expected. Inside, a single manila folder. She opened it. Documents, photos, names she recognized. Senators, generals, CEOs, all connected to a network, all complicit. Her stomach turned. In her ear, Voss's voice. You got it? Yeah. Good. Walk out. Now. Claire closed the box, slid the folder inside her bag. She turned and froze. A man stood at the end of the aisle, baseball cap, jacket. The same man from the pawn shop security footage. He smiled. Hello, Ms. Evans. Claire's hand tightened on the strap of her bag. The folder inside felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. The man took a step closer. His smile didn't reach his eyes. You should put that back. In her ear, Voss's voice crackled. Stay calm. We're coming in. Claire forced herself to breathe. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. He gestured to her bag. Box 471, red stripe. You're not the first person to look for it, but you might be the last. Her legs wanted to run. She locked her knees. Who are you? Someone who cleans up mistakes. He pulled back his jacket just enough. A gun, holstered. Now put the folder back and walk away. You get to go home. Simple. Claire's pulse hammered in her ears, and if I don't? His smile vanished. Then you don't go home at all. Footsteps echoed from the hallway. Fast. Multiple people. The man's head turned slightly. Claire didn't think. She bolted. She ran down the aisle, between shelves. Her bag slapped against her side. Behind her, the man shouted something she couldn't make out. She hit the vault door and shoved through it. The hallway stretched ahead. The librarian's desk was empty. Voss's voice in her ear. East exit. Now. Claire sprinted. Her shoes squeaked on the polished floor. She rounded a corner and nearly collided with 2 security guards running the opposite direction. Hey, stop! She didn't stop. The east exit was ahead. Sunlight streamed through the glass doors. She could see the street, cars, people. She hit the doors hard. They flew open. Outside, a black SUV screeched to the curb. The door swung open. Get in! Voss screamed from the driver's seat. Claire dove into the back. The door slammed. Voss punched the gas before Claire even had her seatbelt on. The SUV fishtailed into traffic. Horns blared. Voss cut across 2 lanes and blew through a red light. Claire twisted in her seat. Through the rear window, she saw the man in the baseball cap standing on the steps of the archives, watching them disappear. He wasn't running, wasn't calling for backup. He was just watching. Who the hell was that? Claire gasped. Voss's knuckles were white on the wheel. Someone who shouldn't have known you were there. They drove for 20 minutes. Voss didn't speak, just drove. Hard turns, side streets, doubling back. Finally, she pulled into an underground parking garage. Killed the engine. Silence. Voss turned in her seat. Let me see it. Claire pulled the folder from her bag and handed it over. Voss flipped it open. Her face went pale. She flipped through the pages faster. Photos, documents, lists of names. Jesus, she whispered. What is it? Voss closed the folder. This is bigger than we thought. How big? Senate Intelligence Committee big. Pentagon big. People who can make entire cases disappear. Voss looked at Claire. Cross wasn't exaggerating. This is a kill list waiting to happen. Claire's stomach turned. So what do we do? We get this to Ruiz. He'll know who to trust. Voss pulled out her phone. Dialed. It rang twice before someone picked up. It's me, Voss said. We have it, but we had contact. Someone was waiting. A pause. Voss's face tightened. Yeah, inside the vault. He knew exactly where she was going. Another pause. I don't know how, but we need to move. Now. She hung up. What did he say? Claire asked. He's meeting us at a secondary location, somewhere off the grid. Voss started the engine again. Until then, we don't stop moving. Schwab. The secondary location turned out to be a storage facility on the outskirts of the city. Rows of identical units, no cameras, no security. Ruiz was already there, leaning against his car. He straightened when they pulled in. Voss got out, handed him the folder. Ruiz opened it. His jaw tightened with every page. When he finished, he looked at Claire. You know what this means? That people are going to want me dead? That people are going to try. Ruiz closed the folder. This isn't just trafficking. This is treason. Senators taking payments to look the other way. Generals selling arms to enemies. It goes all the way up. Claire felt cold. How far up? Ruiz didn't answer. He pulled out his phone and made a call. Spoke in low tones. Hung up. We're taking this to the Inspector General's office. Federal level. Someone who can't be bought. He looked at Voss. Get her somewhere safe. Somewhere no one knows about. What about you? Voss asked. I'm making copies. If something happens to the original, we need backups. Ruiz glanced at Claire. You did good, but this is going to get worse before it gets better. How much worse? Ruiz's expression was grim. The kind of worse where people start having accidents. Voss drove Claire to a motel 2 towns over. The kind of place that took cash and didn't ask questions. Stay here, Voss said. Don't leave. Don't call anyone. I'll be back in a few hours. Where are you going? To make sure Ruiz doesn't get himself killed. Voss handed her a burner phone. This is clean. Only Ruiz and I have the number. If anyone else calls, don't answer. She left. Claire locked the door behind her, drew the curtains, sat on the edge of the bed. The room smelled like bleach and old cigarettes. The TV didn't work. The shower dripped. She stared at the burner phone. Hours passed. No call. She tried to sleep. Couldn't. Her mind kept replaying the man in the vault. His smile. The way he'd stood on the steps and watched them drive away. Like he wasn't worried. Like he knew something she didn't. At midnight, the burner phone rang. She grabbed it. Hello? It's Ruiz. We have a problem. Her chest tightened. What kind of problem? The Inspector General's office was hit 2 hours ago. Armed men. They took everything. Files, computers, hard drives. Claire's blood ran cold. Did they get the folder? No, I still have it. But someone knew we were coming. Ruiz's voice was tight. There's a leak. Someone on the inside. Who? I don't know. But until I figure it out, we can't trust anyone. A pause. I'm going dark for a while. Voss will keep you safe. Don't contact me unless it's an emergency. Wait. The line went dead. Claire stared at the phone. Then she stood and went to the window, pulled back the curtain just enough to see the parking lot. 3 cars, all empty. No movement. She let the curtain fall. Voss didn't come back that night, or the next morning. By noon, Claire was pacing the room. The burner phone sat on the nightstand, silent. She tried calling Voss. It went straight to voicemail. She tried calling Ruiz. Same thing. Her stomach knotted. At 2 p.m., someone knocked on the door. She froze. The knock came again. Housekeeping. Claire didn't move. She hadn't asked for housekeeping. Housekeeping, the voice repeated. She crept to the peephole. A woman in a uniform, cleaning cart beside her. Claire exhaled, opened the door a crack, chain still on. I didn't ask for... The woman shoved the door hard. The chain snapped. Claire stumbled back. The woman stepped inside. She wasn't holding cleaning supplies. She was holding a gun. Sit down, she said calmly. Claire's heart was hammering. Who are you? Someone who wants the folder. The woman kicked the door shut behind her. Where is it? I don't have it. Wrong answer. The woman raised the gun. I'm going to ask one more time. Where is it? Claire's mind raced. The folder was with Ruiz, but if she said that, this woman would kill her and go after him. It's in a locker, Claire lied. Bus station, downtown. The woman's eyes narrowed. Which locker? I don't remember the number. I have the key. Show me. Claire moved slowly toward her bag. Her hands were shaking. She unzipped the front pocket, pulled out her car keys. The woman stepped closer. That's not a locker key. It's mixed in with... Claire threw the keys at her face. The woman flinched. Claire lunged, grabbed the woman's wrist, slammed it against the wall. The gun went off. The bullet punched through the ceiling. Plaster rained down. They hit the floor hard. Claire's elbow cracked against the nightstand. Pain shot up her arm. The woman rolled, brought the gun around. Claire kicked. Her foot connected with the woman's knee. The woman grunted, dropped the gun. Claire scrambled for it. Her fingers closed around the grip. She'd never held a gun before. It was heavier than she expected. The woman lunged. Claire pulled the trigger. The shot was deafening in the small room. The woman collapsed. Blood bloomed across her shoulder. Claire's ears were ringing. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The woman groaned, tried to get up. Claire backed toward the door, gun still raised. "Don't move," she said. Her voice didn't sound like her own. The woman slumped against the bed. "You're dead. You know that? They'll never stop." "Who's they?" The woman laughed. It turned into a cough. "Everyone." Claire grabbed her bag and ran. She didn't stop running until she was 6 blocks away. Her lungs burned. Her hands were still shaking. She ducked into an alley and pulled out the burner phone. Dialed Ruiz. No answer. She tried Voss. Nothing. She was alone. She leaned against the brick wall and tried to think. The woman said they'd never stop, which meant more were coming. She couldn't go back to the motel. Couldn't go home. Couldn't trust anyone. Except maybe one person. She scrolled through her old phone's contacts, found Lena's number, dialed it on the burner. It rang 3 times. "Hello?" Lena's voice was cautious. "It's Claire." A pause. "Oh my God. Are you okay? Everyone's been looking for you. The news said, I need your help." "What's going on?" "I can't explain right now, but I need a place to stay, just for a few hours, somewhere no one would look." Lena hesitated. "Claire, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm in trouble, real trouble, and I don't have anyone else to call." Another pause, longer this time. "Okay," Lena said finally. "I have a friend. She's out of town. I'm watching her place. It's on the south side, near the old rail yard. Can you text me the address?" "Yeah, but Claire, be careful." "I will." The text came through 30 seconds later. An address. Nothing else. Claire memorized it, deleted the message. Then she started walking. The house was small, tucked between 2 vacant lots. The neighborhood looked like it had been forgotten a decade ago. Lena was waiting on the porch. She stood when Claire approached. "Jesus, you look awful." Claire almost laughed. "Thanks." Lena unlocked the door and led her inside. The house was cluttered but clean. Mismatched furniture, plants everywhere. "My friend's a little eccentric," Lena said, "but it's safe. No one knows about this place." Claire set her bag down. "I can't stay long. What happened?" Claire looked at her. Lena had been her friend for 6 years, had covered her shifts, had brought her coffee when she was drowning, had stood by her when everyone else turned away. "Someone tried to kill me," Claire said. Lena's face went white. "What?" "The guy I saved. He wasn't just anyone. He was involved in something big, and now people think I know too much." Claire sat on the couch. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Lena sat beside her. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. The people who are protecting me aren't answering, and the people who want me dead know where I am." Claire looked at her hands. They'd stopped shaking, finally. "I think I'm out of options." "There's always options," Lena said. "You just have to find them." Claire wanted to believe her, but the woman's words kept echoing in her head. They'll never stop. She stayed at the house for 3 hours. Lena made coffee. They didn't talk much, just sat. At 6 p.m., the burner phone rang. Claire grabbed it. "Hello?" "It's Voss. Where are you?" Relief flooded through her. "Safe. For now. What happened? I tried calling. Someone hit our safe house. Ruiz and I barely got out." Voss's voice was strained. "We're regrouping, but we need that folder. Where is it?" "Ruiz has it." "No, he doesn't. He said he gave it to you for safekeeping." Claire's stomach dropped. "He didn't give me anything. He said he was making copies." Silence on the other end. "Voss?" "Claire, if you don't have it and Ruiz doesn't have it, then someone already took it." Voss swore. Where's Ruiz now? I don't know. I tried calling him. He didn't answer. How long ago? 4 hours. More silence. Then, I'm going to find him. Stay where you are. Don't move. Don't trust anyone. Not even you? Voss's laugh was bitter. Especially not me. The line went dead. Claire set the phone down, looked at Lena. I need to go. Go where? I don't know yet, but I can't stay here. If they find me, you'll be in danger too. Lena stood. Then I'm coming with you. No. Claire, you can't do this alone. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You can let someone help you. Lena grabbed her jacket. I'm coming. Don't argue. Claire wanted to argue, but the truth was she was terrified of being alone again. Okay, she said, but if things get bad, you run. You don't look back. Deal. Okay. They left the house at dusk, walked 3 blocks to where Lena had parked her car, an old sedan, dented bumper, rust on the fender. It's not much, Lena said, but it runs. They got in. Lena started the engine. Where to? She asked. Claire thought about it. Ruiz wasn't answering. Voss was hunting for him. The folder was missing, and somewhere out there, people were still coming for her. The hospital, Claire said. Lena frowned. Why? Because that's where this started, and maybe that's where the answers are. Silverbrook General looked different at night. The lights in the ER were too bright, the parking lot too empty. Lena parked in a far corner, killed the engine. What are we looking for? She asked. I don't know yet. Claire stared at the building. But Joanna fired me the same day I saved Cross. Before the video even went viral, someone told her to do it. You think she's involved? I think someone is, and she knows who. They got out of the car, walked toward the building. The night air was cold. Claire pulled her jacket tighter. The ER entrance was busy. Ambulances, patients, nurses rushing between rooms. No one looked at them twice. They slipped inside. Lena led the way. She knew the building as well as Claire did. They took the back stairs, avoided the main hallways. Joanna's office was on the 3rd floor. The lights were off. Claire tried the door. Locked. Lena pulled a bobby pin from her hair. Step back. You know how to pick locks? I have skills you don't know about. Lena worked the pin into the lock. 30 seconds later, the door clicked open. They stepped inside. Joanna's office looked the same, immaculate desk, perfect files, everything in its place. Claire went to the desk, started opening drawers. What are we looking for? Lena whispered. Anything that connects her to Cross, or to the people who want that folder. The first 3 drawers were useless. Office supplies, personnel files, budget reports. The 4th drawer was locked. Claire grabbed a letter opener from the desk and jammed it into the lock. It didn't budge. Let me try. Lena pushed her aside. She worked the bobby pin again. The lock clicked. Inside, a single folder. Claire pulled it out, opened it. Her own employment record stared back at her. 22 years of evaluations, commendations. And at the bottom, a handwritten note. Terminate immediately. Do not provide cause. Approved by R. Whitmore. Who's R. Whitmore? Lena asked. Claire's blood ran cold. Robert Whitmore, Chief of Surgery. Why would he want you fired? Claire flipped through the rest of the folder, found a second document, a payment receipt. $50,000, transferred from an offshore account to Joanna's personal account, dated the night Claire saved Cross. They paid her, Claire said. Someone paid her to fire me. But why? Claire's mind raced. To discredit me. If I'm fired for breaking policy, no one takes me seriously. If I try to come forward, they can say I'm bitter, unstable. Come forward with what? With whatever Cross wanted me to find. Lena stared at the document. This is insane. It's not insane. It's deliberate. Claire took out her phone, snapped photos of everything in the folder. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. They froze. The footsteps stopped outside the door. A key slid into the lock. Claire shoved the folder back into the drawer. Lena grabbed her arm and pulled her behind the desk. The door opened. Joanna walked in. She didn't turn on the lights, just moved to the window and stood there. Claire and Lena pressed themselves against the floor. Claire's heart was hammering so loud she was sure Joanna could hear it. Joanna pulled out her phone. Dialed. "It's me," she said. Her voice was tight. "We have a problem. The nurse is still alive." A pause. "I don't know how, but she is, and she's asking questions." Another pause. Joanna's jaw tightened. "I don't care what it takes. Find her, and make sure she doesn't talk." She hung up. Claire's hands were shaking again. Joanna stood at the window for another minute. Then she left. Locked the door behind her. Claire and Lena stayed frozen for 30 seconds. Then Lena whispered, "We need to get out of here." They crawled out from behind the desk. Lena picked the lock again from the inside. They slipped into the hallway. It was empty. They took the stairs. Moved fast. Didn't stop until they were outside. The parking lot was quiet. Lena's car was where they'd left it. They got in. Lena started the engine. "Where now?" she asked. Claire pulled out the burner phone, dialed Voss. No answer. Tried Ruiz. Still nothing. She stared at the phone. Then it rang. Unknown number. She answered. "Hello? Ms. Evans?" A man's voice, calm, familiar. "This is Robert Whitmore." Claire's breath caught. "I believe you have something that belongs to me," Whitmore said, "and I'd like it back." "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't insult my intelligence. Aaron Cross gave you coordinates. You retrieved a folder. I want it." "I don't have it." "Then who does?" Claire's mind raced. "The FBI." Whitmore laughed. "No, they don't, because if they did, I'd already be in custody, which means it's still out there, and you know where it is. Even if I did, why would I give it to you? Because if you don't, people you care about will start dying. Your friend Lena, for instance." Claire's blood turned to ice. Whitmore continued. "She's in the car with you right now, isn't she? Blue sedan, dented bumper, parked outside the hospital." Claire looked around wildly. No one in the parking lot, no cars running. "How are you, Cole?" "I have eyes everywhere, Ms. Evans. Cameras, informants, people you trust." Whitmore's voice was smooth. "Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to meet me. You're going to tell me where the folder is. And in exchange, I'll let you and your friend walk away." "I don't believe you." "Then Lena dies. Right now. One phone call." Claire's hand tightened on the phone. "Where?" "The old Riverside warehouse, east side. 1 hour. Come alone. If I see federal agents, if I see anyone other than you, your friend dies first. Then you." The line went dead. Claire stared at the phone. Lena was pale. "What did he say?" "He wants to meet. 1 hour." "Are you going?" Claire looked at her. This woman who'd risked everything to help her, who'd picked locks and hidden her and asked no questions. "I don't have a choice." "Yes, you do. We call the police. We tell them everything." "He said he has people everywhere, cops, feds. If we call anyone, he'll know." "So what do we do?" Claire's mind was spinning. An idea was forming, dangerous, stupid, but it was all she had. "We go to the warehouse," she said, "but we don't go alone." They drove to the south side, to the address Lena had given her earlier, the house with the plants. Inside, Claire pulled out the burner phone, scrolled through the call history, found Voss's number. She texted instead of calling. "Riverside Warehouse, east side, 1 hour. Whitmore wants the folder. Come armed." She hit send. No reply. She waited 5 minutes. Still nothing. "What if she doesn't come?" Lena asked. "Then I go in anyway. That's suicide." "Maybe." Claire stood. "But I'm tired of running. I'm tired of being afraid. These people took my job, my life. They tried to kill me, and I'm done." Lena stared at her. "You're serious?" "Yeah. Then I'm coming with you." "No." "Claire, no, you've done enough. If this goes wrong, I need you alive to tell people what happened." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "I don't want to lose you." "You won't." Claire pulled her into a hug. "But if you do, make sure everyone knows the truth. Promise me." Lena nodded against her shoulder. "I promise." The Riverside warehouse had been abandoned for years. Broken windows. Graffiti on the walls. The kind of place where bodies turned up and no one was surprised. Claire parked 2 blocks away. Walked the rest. The sun had set. The area was dark. No streetlights. No cars. She checked her phone. Still no reply from Voss. She was alone. She approached the warehouse. The front door was open, hanging off its hinges. Inside it was darker. Her eyes adjusted slowly. Moonlight filtered through the broken roof, puddles on the concrete floor. "Ms. Evans," Whitmore's voice echoed from somewhere above. She looked up. A catwalk. A figure standing in shadow. "I'm here," she said. "So you are." Whitmore stepped into the light, late 50s, well-dressed, the kind of man who looked like he belonged in a boardroom, not a warehouse. He wasn't alone. 2 men flanked him, both armed. "Where's the folder?" he asked. "Where's the proof you'll let me go?" Whitmore smiled. "You don't have any leverage here. Neither do you. If you kill me, you'll never find it." "I disagree. I have very persuasive methods." He nodded to one of the men. "Bring her up." The men started down the stairs. Claire backed toward the door. "I wouldn't run," Whitmore called. "There are 3 more outside. You won't make it 10 feet. Claire stopped. The men reached her. One grabbed her arm, yanked her toward the stairs. She didn't resist. Let them drag her up. On the catwalk, Whitmore was waiting. "Last chance," he said. "Where is it?" Claire met his eyes. "Safe. With someone you'll never find." Whitmore sighed. "That's disappointing." He nodded to one of the men. The man raised his gun. Claire closed her eyes. A shot rang out, but she didn't fall. The man beside her did. Chaos erupted. More gunfire, shouts. Whitmore dove behind a crate. Claire hit the deck, covered her head. Through the broken windows, she saw muzzle flashes. Federal agents, pouring in through every entrance. Voss's voice boomed through a megaphone. "Federal agents, drop your weapons!" Whitmore's men returned fire. Bullets pinged off metal, ricocheted off concrete. Claire crawled toward the stairs. Her ears were ringing. Her heart was trying to punch through her ribs. A hand grabbed her ankle. Whitmore. His face was twisted with rage. "You set me up!" he snarled. Claire kicked. Her heel connected with his jaw. He let go. She scrambled down the stairs. Agents were everywhere now, shouting, cuffing Whitmore's men. Voss appeared beside her. "You okay?" Claire nodded, couldn't speak. "We got him," Voss said. "It's over." But it wasn't. A gunshot cracked from above. Voss's eyes went wide. She staggered. Blood spread across her chest. She collapsed. Claire screamed, dropped beside her, pressed her hands against the wound. "Stay with me," Claire begged. Voss's eyes were unfocused. "Folder, Rui..." "Don't talk, just stay awake." More agents swarmed in. Someone was shouting for a medic. Claire kept pressure on the wound. Blood seeped between her fingers. Voss's hand found hers, squeezed weakly. "You did it," she whispered. Then her eyes closed. The medics arrived, pushed Claire aside, worked frantically. Claire stood, turned. Whitmore was in cuffs, being dragged toward a van. He looked at her, smiled. "This isn't over," he said. "You think I'm the top? I'm just middle management." The agents shoved him into the van. Claire watched it drive away. Then she looked around. The warehouse was crawling with feds. Evidence markers everywhere, bullet casings, blood. An agent approached her, young, professional. "Ms. Evans, we need you to come with us for your statement." She nodded numbly. They led her to a car. She got in. As they pulled away, she looked back at the warehouse. Voss was on a stretcher. They were loading her into an ambulance. Claire didn't know if she was alive or dead. The agent driving glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "You're safe now." Claire didn't respond, because Whitmore's words were echoing in her head. "I'm just middle management. If he wasn't the top, then who was? And how high did this go?" The car turned onto the highway, headed toward the federal building. Claire stared out the window, watched the city lights blur past. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out. A text from an unknown number. "Well done, but you're not finished yet. Check your old locker at the hospital." Box 471 was a decoy. The real file is somewhere you've had access to all along. Claire's hands went cold. She looked at the agent driving. I need to go back to the hospital. Ma'am, we need your statement first. Now, it's urgent. The agent hesitated, then radioed in. After a brief conversation, he changed direction. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to Silverbrook General. Claire got out, walked inside like she still worked there. No one stopped her. She took the stairs to the staff lounge, found her old locker, the one she'd used for 22 years. It was still there, unlocked, cleaned out, except for one thing, a USB drive, taped to the inside of the door. Her hands shook as she peeled it off. On the drive, a label, the Realbox 471. She stared at it. Someone had planted this here, recently. Someone who knew she'd come back. But who? And what was on it? She pocketed the drive and walked out. The agent was waiting by the car. Find what you needed? He asked. Yeah, Claire said. But as she got into the car, one thought consumed her. If the folder from the archives was a decoy, then everything she'd risked her life for was a lie. And whoever sent that text knew exactly what she'd do next. The USB drive felt like it was burning a hole through her pocket. Claire sat in the back of the federal car, watching streetlights strobe past, and tried to keep her breathing steady. The agent driving hadn't asked what she'd found, hadn't even looked back. That should have been comforting. It wasn't. Her phone buzzed. Another text from the unknown number. Don't plug it in anywhere connected to a network. They'll trace it, find an air-gapped machine. You have 6 hours before the data corrupts. Claire typed back, Who are you? The reply came instantly. Someone who wants the same thing you do, justice. But you're running out of time. The car pulled up to the federal building downtown. Concrete and glass. Lights on in half the windows, even though it was past midnight. The agent opened her door. This way, Ms. Evans. She followed him inside. Through security, down a hallway that smelled like burnt coffee and floor polish, into a small conference room with a table, 4 chairs, and a mirror that was definitely two-way glass. Someone will be with you shortly, the agent said. Then he left. Claire sat, pulled out the USB drive, turned it over in her hands. 6 hours before the data corrupts. That meant it was programmed to self-destruct, which meant whoever sent it knew exactly how much time she had before evidence disappeared forever. The door opened. Ruiz walked in. He looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. His tie was gone. His shirt wrinkled, but he was alive. You're okay, Claire said. Barely. He sat across from her. Voss? I don't know. They took her away in an ambulance. She was... Claire's voice cracked. There was a lot of blood. Ruiz closed his eyes. She's tough. She'll make it. Neither of them sounded convinced. He opened his eyes. We got Whitmore. He's in custody, singing like a bird. But you were right. He's not the top. He's connected to someone higher, someone inside the Senate Intelligence Committee. Who? He won't say. Keeps asking for a lawyer, but we're building the case. The folder you got from the archives was a decoy, Claire interrupted. Ruiz froze. What? She pulled out the USB drive, set it on the table between them. I got a text. Someone told me the real evidence is on this. Ruiz stared at the drive like it might explode. Who sent it? I don't know, but they said I have 6 hours before it self-destructs, and that I can't plug it into anything networked. That's convenient. You think it's a trap? I think everything about this case has been a trap. Ruiz picked up the drive, examined it. But if there's even a chance this is real, we can't ignore it. So what do? Ruiz stood. We find a computer that's completely offline, and we see what's on this thing. The tech lab was in the basement. Rows of equipment, monitors everywhere. A young woman with purple hair and a federal ID badge sat at one of the stations. This is Dakota, Ruiz said. She's our digital forensics specialist. If there's malware on this thing, she'll find it. Dakota held out her hand. Claire gave her the drive. Dakota plugged it into an isolated machine. No network cables, no Wi-Fi. The screen flickered to life. A single folder appeared, labeled Revelation. Dakota clicked it. Inside, hundreds of files, documents, audio recordings, video footage, bank transfers. Dakota's eyes widened. Holy hell! Ruiz leaned over her shoulder. What is it? Everything. Dakota scrolled faster. Names, payments, shipment routes. This is a complete breakdown of a trafficking network spanning 15 countries. Claire stepped closer. On screen, a video file labeled Confirmation. Dakota clicked it. The footage was grainy, shot from a hidden camera, a conference room. 5 people sitting around a table. One of them was Robert Whitmore. Another was a woman Claire recognized from the news, Senator Patricia Holloway, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The audio crackled to life. The shipment clears customs in 48 hours, Whitmore said on the recording. Once it's distributed, we'll have full market penetration in the Eastern Corridor. Senator Holloway leaned forward. And Cross? Contained. He doesn't know the full scope. If he tries to surface anything, we'll handle it. Make sure you do. If this gets out, we're all going to prison. Whitmore smiled. It won't get out. The video ended. Claire felt sick. Ruiz's jaw was tight. When was this recorded? Dakota checked the file metadata. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks before Cross collapsed in that pawn shop, Ruiz said quietly. He looked at Claire. He must have recorded this, kept it as insurance. But why give it to me? Claire asked. Why not go straight to the authorities? Because he didn't know who to trust. Ruiz gestured to the screen. If the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee is involved, who else is compromised? FBI? DOJ? He needed someone outside the system. So he marked me with coordinates to a decoy, Claire said slowly, to see who would come after it. And when they did, he'd know who was dirty. And you'd know who to avoid, Ruiz finished. He was testing the system, using you as bait. Claire's hands curled into fists. He put a target on my back. Yeah, but he also gave you the one thing that could bring them all down. Ruiz turned to Dakota. Can you make copies? Already on it. Dakota's fingers flew across the keyboard. But if this drive is set to corrupt in 6 hours, whoever planted it wants you to act fast. Why? Because evidence like this doesn't just disappear on its own. Someone's triggering the wipe, which means they're watching. And when they realize you've copied it, they'll know. Ruiz pulled out his phone. I'm calling the Inspector General. We need to move on this now. He stepped into the hallway. Dakota kept working. Claire watched the files copy, one after another, names she recognized, companies she'd heard of, politicians, generals, CEOs, all of them connected, all of them complicit. Done, Dakota said. She ejected the drive and handed it back to Claire. 3 copies, one for you, one for Ruiz, one for me. Why you? Because if something happens to you and him, someone needs to know where to find this. Dakota's expression was grim. People who traffic weapons don't play nice when cornered. Claire pocketed the drive. Thanks. Don't thank me yet. You're about to piss off some very dangerous people. Ruiz came back. His face was pale. What's wrong? Claire asked. The Inspector General is dead. Car accident 2 hours ago. The room went cold. That's not a coincidence, Dakota said. No, it's not. Ruiz sat down hard. Which means we can't go through official channels. Not yet. Not until we know who else is involved. So what do we do? Claire asked. Ruiz looked at her. We go public. We leak it. Every news outlet. Every journalist. We make it impossible to bury. They'll come after us. They're already coming after us. Ruiz stood. But if this is everywhere, if the whole world sees it, they can't kill all of us. Dakota spun in her chair. I can help with that. I have contacts. Independent journalists. People who can't be bought. Do it, Ruiz said. But we need to move fast. Once this is out, we're going to have a very small window before they shut it down. Dakota grabbed her phone, started typing. Ruiz turned to Claire. You should go. Get somewhere safe. Once this breaks, you'll be the most visible target. I'm not running. Claire, I didn't run when they fired me. I didn't run when they tried to kill me. I'm not running now. She met his eyes. I want to see their faces when it all comes down. Ruiz studied her, then nodded. Okay, but you stay close to me. No exceptions. Bam. They left the building through a side exit. Ruiz's car was in the underground garage. They got in. He started the engine but didn't move. What? Claire asked. I'm thinking. Ruiz stared at the steering wheel. Whitmore said he was middle management. Senator Holloway is higher, but even she reports to someone. Who? I don't know, but someone coordinated all of this. Someone with enough power to compromise federal agencies, silence inspectors general, and make people disappear. Ruiz looked at her. Whoever it is, they're about to lose everything. And people like that don't go quietly. You think they'll try to kill us before the story breaks? I think they'll try to kill everyone involved. Us, Dakota, the journalists, anyone with a copy of that drive. He put the car in gear. Which is why we're not going home tonight. They drove north, out of the city, into the suburbs, then further, rural roads, no streetlights. Ruiz pulled into a dirt road that led to a cabin. Small, isolated, surrounded by trees. What is this place? Claire asked. Safe house, off the books. I bought it with cash 5 years ago. No one knows about it. Not the bureau, not my family, no one. They got out. Ruiz unlocked the door. Inside was sparse, a couch, a table, a kitchenette, one bedroom. You take the bed, Ruiz said. I'll sleep on the couch. I'm not tired. Neither am I. He sat at the table, pulled out his phone, started going through the files Dakota had sent. Claire sat across from him. Can I ask you something? Yeah. Why are you doing this? You could have walked away. Let someone else handle it. Ruiz didn't look up. I joined the Bureau because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to believe the system worked, that if you followed the rules, justice would prevail. He set the phone down. But the older I got, the more I realized the system only works if the people running it are honest, and most of them aren't. So why stay? Because someone has to. He looked at her. Cross believed in you. He didn't know you, didn't owe you anything, but he trusted you with the most important thing he had. That says something. It says he was desperate. Maybe. But desperation makes people reckless, not careful. And giving you those coordinates was careful, deliberate. Ruiz leaned back. He saw something in you, and so do I. Claire didn't know what to say to that. Her phone buzzed, a text from Lena. Are you okay? The news is saying there was a shootout at a warehouse. Please tell me you weren't there. Claire typed back. I'm fine, safe. I'll explain later. Don't worry. She hit send, then turned off her phone. Ruiz was watching her. Your friend? Yeah, she's worried. She should be. He stood, walked to the window, pulled back the curtain just enough to see outside. We're exposed out here. If they track us, there's no backup, no cavalry. You think they will? I think they'll try everything. He let the curtain fall. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be hell. Whoa. Claire didn't sleep. She lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Outside, the wind moved through the trees. It was the only sound. At 4 a.m., her phone buzzed again. She'd turned it off, but it buzzed anyway. She grabbed it. The screen was black, but it was vibrating. Then it lit up. A call. No number. She answered. Hello? Static. Then a voice. Distorted. Mechanical. You should have stayed out of it. Claire sat up. Who is this? Someone who's been watching you, helping you. But you've pushed too far. Are you the one who sent me the drive? I sent you a gift, and you're about to waste it. What are you talking about? Ruiz is going to leak the files. When he does, they'll kill you both, publicly. Make it look like a murder-suicide. Discredit everything you found. Claire's blood ran cold. How do you know that? Because I wrote the playbook years ago, when I still believed in the mission. The voice paused. But I got out, and I've been trying to burn it down ever since. Why? Who are you? Someone who used to work for them. Someone who knows how they think, how they operate. Another pause. And I'm telling you, if you go public now, you'll die. And the story will die with you. Then what do we do? You wait. Let me position the pieces. When I give the signal, you release everything, but not before. I don't trust you. You don't have to, but if you want to live, you'll listen. The line went dead. Claire stared at the phone. Then she got up and walked into the main room. Ruiz was asleep on the couch, his phone on the table beside him. She picked it up, unlocked it. He didn't have a password. His messages were open. The last one was to Dakota. Send the files to every contact on the list. Do it at 6 a.m. No delays. Claire checked the time, 4:17 a.m. She had less than 2 hours. She set the phone down and shook Ruiz awake. He jolted upright. What's wrong? Someone just called me. Said if we leak the files now, they'll kill us. Make it look like murder-suicide. Ruiz rubbed his face. Who called you? I don't know. They said they used to work for the people we're going after, that they've been helping us. And you believe them? I don't know what to believe, but they knew you were planning to leak the files at 6 a.m. Ruiz went still. How would they know that? They said they've been watching. Ruiz grabbed his phone. Checked it. No one's touched this, no bugs, no spyware. Then how? I don't know. He stood, walked to the window, looked out. Maybe they're bluffing, trying to scare us into waiting. Or maybe they're right. Ruiz turned. If we wait, we give them time to move the evidence, destroy copies, silence witnesses. Every second we delay, they get stronger. And if we don't wait, we die, and the evidence dies with us. They stared at each other. Finally, Ruiz said, It's your call. Why mine? Because Cross gave this to you, not me. You're the one who carried it this far. He crossed his arms. So what do you want to do? Claire thought about it. About the woman in the motel with the gun. About Whitmore in the warehouse. About the video of Senator Holloway casually discussing trafficking routes like it was a quarterly earnings report. We wait, she said, but not long. 12 hours. If we don't hear from this person by then, we leak everything. Ruiz nodded. 12 hours. He sent a text to Dakota. Hold the leak. We'll advise. The reply came instantly. You sure? Yes. Stand by. Ruiz set the phone down. Now we wait. Mom. The sun came up. Neither of them had slept. At 8 a.m., Ruiz made coffee. It was terrible. Claire drank it anyway. At 10 a.m., Claire's phone rang. Lena. She answered. Hey. Claire, where are you? Lena's voice was shaking. The hospital's on lockdown. Federal agents everywhere. They're arresting people. Who? Joanna. Dr. Whitmore. Half the executive board. Lena's breath hitched. They're saying it's connected to trafficking. Weapons. What the hell is going on? I can't explain right now, but you need to stay away from the hospital. Go home. Lock your doors. You're scaring me. I know, but please, just do it. Okay? A pause. Be careful. I will. Claire hung up. Ruiz was watching her. It's starting. What is? The arrests. Someone's moving on this, fast. I thought we were waiting. We are, but someone else isn't. Ruiz grabbed his phone, checked the news. The headline read, Federal raids target Silverbrook General in weapons trafficking probe. Below it, photos of Joanna in handcuffs. Dr. Whitmore being led into a federal building. They're burning the lower levels, Ruiz said, arresting the small players to make it look like they're doing something. But the real targets, Holloway and whoever's above her, they're still walking free. Claire's phone buzzed. Another text from the unknown number. You see what I mean? They're controlling the narrative, making it look like justice is being served, but the heads of the snake are still alive. Wait for my signal. Claire showed the text to Ruiz. He read it, then looked at her. This person, whoever they are, they're inside. They have to be. No one else would know this much. So what do? We wait, like you said. But I'm calling in backup, people I trust, people who can't be bought. Who? Journalists, old school, the kind who broke Watergate and Pentagon Papers. If this person gives us the signal and we release everything, I want it in the right hands. He made 3 calls, each one short, each one careful. When he finished, he looked exhausted. They're ready, he said. As soon as we give the word, they'll publish everything, simultaneously. No one can stop it once it's out there. Claire nodded. They waited. At 2 p.m., the news broke that Senator Patricia Holloway had been admitted to the hospital. Heart attack. Convenient, Ruiz muttered. At 3 p.m., Claire's phone rang. The distorted voice again. It's time. Time for what? Holloway's faking. She's buying time to destroy evidence, but I have someone inside the hospital. They're going to force her hand. How? By making her think Cross is alive and talking. He is alive. Barely, and not talking. But she doesn't know that. The voice paused. In 1 hour, a video will surface. Cross on camera, naming everyone. It's fake, deep fake. But she won't know that. And when she panics, she'll contact the person above her. And then what? Then you release everything. All of it. Every file. Every name. And I'll make sure it gets to the people who matter. Who are you? Someone who used to believe in the mission. Someone who realized too late that the mission was a lie. The voice hardened. 1 hour. Be ready. The line went dead. Claire looked at Ruiz. They're moving. Good. He stood, checked his gun. Because I'm tired of waiting. 57 minutes later, the video surfaced. It was everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, news sites, a grainy recording of Aaron Cross, sitting in what looked like a hospital bed, speaking directly to the camera. My name is Aaron Cross. I'm a federal operative, and I have evidence of a weapons trafficking network involving members of Congress, the Pentagon, and private defense contractors. The evidence is real. The names are real. And if anything happens to me, it all goes public. He listed names. Holloway, Whitmore, 3 senators, 2 generals, a dozen others. Then the video ended. Claire's phone exploded with notifications. So did Ruiz's. Is that really him? Claire asked. No. Ruiz was watching the video on his phone. Look at his eyes, the way his mouth moves. It's a deep fake. Good one. But fake. Will Holloway know that? Not at first. And by the time she figures it out, it'll be too late. 10 minutes later, Holloway checked herself out of the hospital. Against medical advice, the news showed footage of her leaving through a side exit, getting into a black car. Claire's phone buzzed, the unknown number. She's running. Follow her. Don't lose her. How are we supposed to follow her? Claire said aloud. Ruiz's phone buzzed. A text from Dakota. I'm tracking her phone, sending you the location now. A pin dropped on a map, moving north. Ruiz grabbed his keys. Let's go. They followed the signal for 40 minutes, out of the city, into the mountains. The roads got narrower, the trees thicker. The pin stopped at a location marked private property. Ruiz pulled over half a mile away, killed the engine. We go on foot from here, he said. They got out, moved through the trees, quiet, careful. Ahead, a compound, high fences, security cameras, guards at the gate. What is this place? Claire whispered. I don't know, but it's not on any federal registry. They circled around, found a spot where the fence had a gap, slipped through. Inside, the compound was massive. A main house, several outbuildings. Vehicles parked in neat rows. Holloway's car was there. They moved closer, staying low, using the buildings for cover. Voices drifted from the main house, raised, angry. Ruiz pulled out a small recording device, pointed it toward the open window. Holloway's voice. Told you this was contained. You said Cross was handled. A man's voice. Calm, cold. He was. Someone brought him back. Then handle it again. It's not that simple. The video is everywhere. If we move on him now, it confirms everything. So what do you suggest? We burn it all. The files, the witnesses, everyone connected. Including the nurse. Especially the nurse. She's the weak link. Kill her, discredit her, and the whole thing falls apart. Claire's blood turned to ice. Ruiz pulled her back, away from the window. They crouched behind a truck. We need to get out of here, he whispered. Not yet. We need to see who that is. Claire, we're this close. I need to know. Ruiz hesitated, then nodded. They crept around the side of the house, found another window. Inside, Holloway stood with her back to them. Across from her, A man in a suit, late 60s, silver hair, a face Claire recognized from 1,000 news broadcasts. Vice President Marcus Delano. Claire's hands went numb. Ruiz's face was pale. Jesus Christ. The vice president was talking. Too much exposure. We need to disappear for a while. Let this blow over. It's not going to blow over, Holloway snapped. Cross-named names. If those files surface, they won't. I have people scrubbing every server, every hard drive. By tomorrow, there'll be nothing left. What about the copies? What copies? The nurse, Ruiz, Dakota Wells. They have copies. Delano smiled. Not for long. A phone buzzed. Delano pulled it out, answered. Yes? His face changed. When? A pause. Then, find them, now. He hung up, looked at Holloway. They just released the files. Every news outlet, every journalist, it's everywhere. Holloway's face went white. How? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Delano's voice was ice. We're leaving, right now. The jet's ready. Leaving where? Somewhere without extradition. They moved toward the door. Ruiz grabbed Claire's arm. We need to go, now. They ran, back through the compound, toward the fence. Behind them, shouts. Guards running, dogs barking. They hit the fence, squeezed through the gap. Gunfire erupted. Bullets tore through the trees. They ran faster, reached the car. Ruiz jammed the keys in the ignition. The engine roared to life. They peeled out, tires screaming. In the rearview mirror, vehicles poured out of the compound, following. They're coming, Claire said. I know. Ruiz floored it. The road was narrow, winding. Ruiz took the turns too fast. The car fishtailed, barely held. Behind them, headlights, getting closer. Ruiz grabbed his phone, tossed it to Claire. Call Dakota. Tell her we need extraction. Now. Claire dialed. Dakota picked up on the first ring. We released everything, Dakota said. It's everywhere. You did it. We need help. They're chasing us. Claire looked at a road sign. On Mountain Ridge Road, heading south, we need... Gunfire shattered the rear window. Glass exploded. Claire screamed. Ruiz swerved. The car clipped a tree. Spun. They slammed into a ditch. The airbags deployed. White powder everywhere. Claire's ears were ringing. Out! Ruiz gasped. Get out! They kicked open the doors, stumbled into the trees. Behind them, the headlights stopped. Doors opened. Find them, a voice commanded. Claire and Ruiz ran. Branches tore at their clothes. Roots tried to trip them. Ahead, lights, a highway. They broke through the tree line. A semi-truck blasted past, then another. Ruiz waved his arms. Tried to flag one down. None stopped. Behind them, voices. Flashlights cutting through the darkness. Claire's lungs were burning, her legs screaming. Then, sirens. Police cars, dozens of them, screaming up the highway. They screeched to a stop. Officers poured out, weapons drawn. Federal agents, someone shouted. Down on the ground, now! Claire and Ruiz dropped. Hands behind their heads, the officers surrounded them. But they weren't pointing guns at Claire and Ruiz. They were pointing them at the tree line, at the men emerging with weapons. Drop your weapons, the lead officer commanded. Now! The men hesitated. Then, slowly, they set their guns down. The officers moved in, cuffed them, read them their rights. Someone helped Claire to her feet. A female officer. You Claire Evans? Claire nodded. You're safe now. The whole damn country's looking for you. They were taken to a federal facility, not the same one as before. This one was bigger, more secure. Inside, agents everywhere. Phones ringing, screens showing news coverage. Every channel was running the story. The files, the names, the evidence. Senator Holloway in custody. Vice President Delano's location unknown. Warrants issued. Assets frozen. Claire sat in a conference room and watched it all unfold. Ruiz sat beside her, exhausted, but alive. We did it, he said quietly. Yeah. You okay? Claire didn't answer. She wasn't sure what okay meant anymore. The door opened. A man walked in, late 50s, gray suit, FBI director badge. Ms. Evans, Agent Ruiz. He sat across from them. I owe you both an apology and a thank you. For what? Claire asked. for exposing a rot that went deeper than anyone imagined, and for staying alive long enough to see it through. He slid a folder across the table. This is for you. Claire opened it. A letter. Official. Federal seal. It was an offer. A position. Senior consultant, federal healthcare oversight, and emergency response reform. You've seen what's broken, the director said. Now help us fix it. Claire stared at the letter. Then she looked up. What about Voss? She's stable, recovering. She'll make a full recovery. Relief flooded through her. And Cross? Also stable. He'll testify. So will you when the trials start. Trials? 17 federal indictments so far. More coming. The director stood. This is going to take years, but we're going to see it through. He left. Claire looked at Ruiz. You think they'll all go to prison? Some of them, maybe most, but people like Delano, they have resources, lawyers, escape routes. So it's not over. It's never over. But we won today. That counts for something. 3 days later, Claire stood outside Walter Reed. Visiting hours. She walked inside. Through security, up to the ICU. Aaron Cross was awake. Sitting up, still pale, still weak, but alive. He looked at her when she entered. You came. Yeah. I heard what you did, what you risked. His voice was rough. I'm sorry. I never meant for... Don't. Claire sat in the chair beside his bed. You did what you had to do. So did I. You could have died. So could you. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Cross said, They're offering me a deal. Immunity, new identity, witness protection. You taking it? I don't know. Feels like running. You've earned the right to run. Cross smiled weakly. So have you, but you're not. No. Why? Claire thought about it. About Joanna's office, about the warehouse, about the cabin in the woods and the chase through the mountains. Because someone has to stay and make sure this doesn't happen again. Cross nodded. Then I'm staying too. You sure? Yeah, I didn't start this fight to watch someone else finish it. 2 weeks later, the first trial began. Senator Patricia Holloway, charged with conspiracy, trafficking, and treason. Claire sat in the gallery, watched the prosecutors lay out the evidence. Her evidence. The video from the archives, the files from the USB drive, the recordings from the compound, all of it. Holloway's lawyers tried to fight, tried to discredit, tried to delay, but the evidence was overwhelming. On the 4th day, Claire was called to testify. She walked to the stand, took the oath, sat down. The prosecutor approached. Ms. Evans, can you tell the court how you became involved in this case? Claire took a breath. I saved a man's life, and he saved mine. She told the story, all of it. The pawn shop, the suspension, the firing, the hunt, the files. The courtroom was silent. When she finished, the prosecutor said, Thank you, Ms. Evans. No further questions. Holloway's lawyer stood, a man in an expensive suit with cold eyes. Ms. Evans, isn't it true that you were fired from your job for violating hospital policy? Yes. And isn't it true that you were bitter about that termination? I was angry, not bitter. Angry enough to fabricate evidence to get revenge on the people who fired you? Claire met his eyes. I didn't fabricate anything. The evidence speaks for itself. Does it? Or does it speak to a woman with an axe to grind and a vivid imagination? The prosecutor objected. The judge sustained, but the lawyer wasn't done. Ms. Evans, you're not a federal agent, you're not a lawyer, you're a nurse. What makes you think you're qualified to... I'm qualified, Claire interrupted, because I didn't look away. Because when I saw something wrong, I did something about it. And I'm still here. The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel. But Claire wasn't finished. You can try to discredit me. You can call me bitter or angry or unqualified, but you can't erase what I found. You can't undo what your client did, and you can't silence the truth. The judge banged his gavel again. Ms. Evans, please. I'm done, Claire said. She stood, walked off the stand. As she passed Holloway's table, the senator looked at her. No expression, just cold calculation. Claire didn't look away. The verdict came 3 weeks later. Guilty. on all counts. Holloway was sentenced to 40 years, no parole. Claire watched the news from her new office. Federal building, 12th floor, a view of the city. Her phone rang. Ruiz. "You see it?" he asked. "Yeah." "Good. 1 down, 16 to go." "What about Delano?" "Still missing, but we'll find him. It's only a matter of time." Claire wasn't so sure. Men like Delano didn't get caught unless they wanted to be. "You coming to the thing tonight?" Ruiz asked. "What thing?" "Voss is being awarded the Medal of Valor. You should be there." "I'll try." "Claire, I'll be there, I promise." She hung up. Her computer dinged. An email. From an address she didn't recognize, the subject line, "For your eyes only." She hesitated, then opened it. Inside, a single line of text. "You did well, but the game isn't over. VP Delano sends his regards." Attached, a photo. Claire opened it. Her stomach dropped. It was a picture of her, taken this morning, walking into the federal building from across the street. Someone had been watching her, was still watching her. Her phone buzzed, a text from the same unknown number that had helped her before. "He's baiting you. Don't engage, I'll handle it." Claire's hands were shaking. She typed back, "Who are you?" The reply came instantly. "Someone who's been where you are, and someone who knows how this ends." "How does it end?" "With you making a choice. Trust the system, or burn it all down." Claire stared at the message. Then her office door opened. A man walked in, mid-40s, suit, federal badge. "Ms. Evans, I'm Special Agent Connors. I need to ask you some questions about Vice President Delano's current whereabouts." Claire looked at him, then at her computer screen, the photo still open, the message still there. "I don't know where he is," she said. "Are you sure? Because we have intelligence suggesting he's tried to contact you." Claire's blood ran cold. "I don't know what you're talking about." Connors stepped closer, closed the door behind him. "Ms. Evans, if you're withholding information about a federal fugitive, that's obstruction. I can have you arrested right now." Claire stood. "Then arrest me." They stared at each other. Connors smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I don't think that'll be necessary, but I will be watching, very closely." He turned and left. Claire sat back down. Her heart was hammering. Her phone buzzed again. The unknown number. "Connors isn't FBI. He's one of Delano's. Get out of that building, now." Claire grabbed her bag and walked out of her office, not running. That would draw attention. Just walking, like she had somewhere to be. The hallway was crowded. Agents, staffers, people on phones. No one looked at her. She took the stairs instead of the elevator. Down, fast. Her phone buzzed. "The unknown number. Connors is following you. 2 floors up. Take the south exit. Car waiting." Claire's pulse hammered. She hit the 10th floor landing and kept going. Behind her, a door opened. Footsteps. Fast. She went faster. 8th floor, 7th, 6th. The footsteps were gaining. She burst through the ground floor door and ran. Across the lobby, past security, out the south exit. A black sedan sat at the curb. Engine running, back door open. She didn't think. She dove in. The door slammed. The car accelerated before she even had her seatbelt on. She looked at the driver. A woman, 40s. Short dark hair, eyes that didn't miss anything. "Who are you?" Claire gasped. "Someone who's been keeping you alive." The woman took a hard left, cut through an alley. "My name's Iris Kane. I used to run operations for Delano before I figured out what he really was." "You're the one who sent me the texts." "Yeah." "Why?" "Because I helped build the network Cross was trying to expose. I recruited people, moved money, covered tracks." Iris glanced in the rearview mirror. "And when I realized what we were really doing, I tried to get out. They tried to kill me. So I've been burning it down ever since." Claire's head was spinning. "Connors isn't FBI. He's private security. Delano's cleanup crew. If you'd stayed in that building, you'd be dead in an hour, made to look like suicide." "How did you know he was coming?" "I have someone on the inside, feeding me information." Iris took another turn. "But Delano's getting desperate. The trials are destroying his network." Holloway flipped, started naming names to reduce her sentence. 3 more indictments came down this morning. "Who?" 2 generals, 1 defense contractor, all directly tied to Delano. Iris's jaw tightened. He's losing control, which makes him dangerous. Where are we going? Somewhere he can't reach you, somewhere off every grid. They drove for 90 minutes, out of the city, through small towns, into farmland. Finally, they pulled up to an old barn, paint peeling, roof sagging. Iris killed the engine. Out. Inside, the barn had been converted into a command center. Computers, monitors, maps on the walls. A woman sat at one of the screens. Young, 20s, headphones on. She looked up when they entered. "You're Claire." "Yeah." "I'm Maya. I handle the digital end." She pulled off her headphones. "Connors just reported back to Delano. Said you escaped. Delano's pissed." "Good," Iris said. She turned to Claire. "You need to understand something. Delano isn't going to stop. He can't. If he's caught, he goes to prison for the rest of his life. So he's going scorched earth. Everyone connected to this case is a target. Ruiz already moved to a safe location. So is Voss. Cross too. What about Lena, my friend?" Iris nodded to Maya. "Pull her up," Maya typed. A live feed appeared on one of the monitors. Lena's apartment. Lena sitting on her couch, watching TV. "We've had eyes on her for 3 days," Iris said. "She's safe. For now." Claire exhaled. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet." Iris pulled out a laptop, opened it. "We have a problem. Delano's planning something big. We intercepted communications. He's moving assets, liquidating accounts, preparing to disappear." "Where?" "We don't know. But before he goes, he's tying up loose ends." Iris pulled up a list. Names, photos. "These are the people he's targeting. Witnesses, investigators, journalists who broke the story." Claire's face was on the list. So was Ruiz's, Voss's, Cross's. And at the bottom, Lena's. Claire's blood ran cold. "Why Lena? She's not involved." "She's your friend. That's enough." Iris closed the laptop. "Delano doesn't leave loose threads. If he can't get to you, he'll get to the people you care about, force you out of hiding. So what do we do?" "We flip the script, stop reacting, start hunting." Iris stood, walked to one of the maps on the wall. "Delano thinks he's a ghost, untouchable, but everyone leaves a trail. We just have to find it." Maya spun in her chair. "I've been digging into his financials, shell companies, offshore accounts. Most of it's buried, but I found something interesting." She pulled up a document on the main screen, a property deed, registered to a holding company in the Cayman Islands. "This company owns a private airstrip, middle of nowhere, Montana. No commercial traffic, no flight plans filed in 6 months. Except," Iris prompted. "Except for one. Filed 2 hours ago. Departure time, 6 a.m. tomorrow." Claire's stomach tightened. "He's running." "Not yet, but he will." Iris studied the screen. "If we can get to that airstrip before he does, we can end this." "How?" Iris smiled. It wasn't friendly. "By making sure he never gets on that plane." Basa. They spent the next 4 hours planning. Iris laid out the airstrip on a tactical map. 2 buildings, 1 hangar, a single runway. "Security?" Claire asked. "Private, maybe 3 or 4 guys. Delano won't bring an army. Too much attention." Iris marked the approach routes. "We go in quiet, disable the plane, wait for him to arrive, then we take him alive." "And if he doesn't come alone?" "Then we improvise." Iris looked at Claire. "You don't have to do this. You can stay here. Let us handle it." "No, I'm going." "This isn't a trial. This isn't testimony. This is a takedown. People might get hurt." "People have been getting hurt since the moment I saved Cross." Claire met her eyes. "I'm done hiding. I'm done being a target. I want to see his face when it all falls apart." Iris studied her, then nodded. "Okay, but you follow my lead. No heroics." "Deal." Maya cleared her throat. "One more thing. I pulled Delano's phone records. He made a call this morning. To a blocked number, but I traced it." "Who?" Iris asked. "Judge Martin Cassidy. Federal Appellate Court." The room went silent. Cassidy's the one overseeing Holloway's appeals, Iris said slowly. If he's talking to Delano, then the fix is in, Claire finished. Holloway gets her conviction overturned, walks free. Which means we need to move fast. Iris grabbed her jacket. We leave in 2 hours. Get some rest. It's going to be a long night. They drove through the night, 3 vehicles. Iris and Claire in the lead car. Maya and 2 others Claire didn't know in the vehicles behind. The airstrip was in the middle of nowhere. No towns nearby, no lights except stars. They parked a mile out and went the rest of the way on foot. The airstrip was exactly as Maya had described. 2 buildings, 1 hangar. Runway lit by dim floodlights. A small jet sat on the tarmac, sleek, expensive. That's his ride, Iris whispered. She pulled out binoculars, scanned the area. 2 guards, 1 by the hangar, 1 by the plane. Where's Delano? Not here yet, but he will be. Iris checked her watch. We've got 40 minutes before the flight window opens. She signaled to the others. They split up, moving in from different angles. Claire stayed with Iris. They crept toward the hangar, staying low, using the darkness. The guard by the hangar was young, maybe mid-20s, smoking a cigarette. Bored. Iris moved like a shadow. 1 second she was beside Claire. The next she was behind the guard. A quick strike. The guard crumpled. Unconscious. Iris dragged him into the hangar, zip-tied his hands and feet, gagged him. 1 down, she whispered. They moved toward the plane. The second guard was more alert, pacing, hand near his weapon. Iris signaled to one of the others. A man Claire recognized from the barn. He moved in from the opposite side. The guard turned, saw him. Hey! The man raised his hands. Easy. I'm just lost. Looking for... The guard's hand went to his gun. Iris moved, fast, tackled him from behind. They hit the ground hard. The guard tried to shout. Iris clamped a hand over his mouth. The other man helped restrain him. 30 seconds later, the guard was zip-tied and gagged. 2 down, Iris said. She looked at Maya. Disable the plane. Maya pulled out a toolkit, crawled under the jet, started working. Claire kept watch. Her heart was hammering. Her hands were sweating despite the cold. Minutes passed, felt like hours. Finally, Maya crawled out. Done. That plane's not going anywhere. Good. Now we wait. Iris moved everyone into position. Behind the hangar, behind the second building, out of sight. Claire crouched beside Iris. What if he doesn't come? He'll come. Men like Delano always run when the walls close in. They waited. At 5:47 a.m., headlights appeared in the distance. Here we go, Iris whispered. A convoy of 3 black SUVs approached, stopped near the plane, doors opened. Armed men got out, 4 of them, scanning the area. Then Delano stepped out. Even from a distance, Claire recognized him. Silver hair, expensive coat, moving like he owned the world. He walked toward the plane. One of his men followed. Pre-flight's done, sir, the man said. We're clear for takeoff in 5. Delano nodded, started up the stairs. Iris raised her hand, signaled. Floodlights blazed to life, blinding. Federal agents, nobody move! Delano froze on the stairs. His men reached for their weapons. Drop them, Iris commanded. You're surrounded. The men hesitated, looked at Delano. He raised his hand slowly. There's been a mistake. The only mistake, Iris said, stepping into the light, was thinking you'd get away. Delano's eyes narrowed when he saw her. Iris, I should have known. You should have known a lot of things. Oh, Iris kept her weapon trained on him. Like when to quit. This is kidnapping. Illegal detention. I'm the vice president. You're a fugitive. 17 federal indictments. Conspiracy, treason, arms trafficking. Iris's voice was cold. The only place you're going is a cell. Delano laughed. You think you can hold me? I have lawyers, judges, people in places you can't even imagine. Had, Claire said, stepping forward. You had all that. Before the files went public. Before Holloway flipped. Before your entire network collapsed. Delano's smile vanished. He looked at Claire. The nurse. I remember you now. The one who saved Cross. The one who exposed you, Claire corrected. Exposed what? Allegations? Hearsay? You have no proof. We have everything, Claire said. Video, audio, documents, your own people testifying against you. They'll recant. They always do. Not this time, Iris gestured to the others. Cuff him. 2 agents moved forward. Delano's men raised their weapons. I wouldn't, Iris warned. We have snipers positioned on both buildings. You fire, you die. It was a bluff. Claire knew it, but Delano's men didn't. Slowly, they lowered their weapons. The agents cuffed Delano, pulled him down the stairs. He looked at Claire as they led him past. This isn't over. Yes, it is, Claire said. You're finished. Local police arrived 20 minutes later, then federal marshals. The entire area swarmed with law enforcement. Delano was loaded into a transport vehicle. His men were arrested. The plane was impounded. Claire stood at the edge of the runway and watched the sun come up. Iris walked over. You did good. We're not done yet. The trials will happen, and he'll go to prison. So will everyone else. Iris pulled out her phone. Holloway's appeal was just denied. Judge Cassidy recused himself. Someone leaked his phone records to the ethics committee. Claire smiled. Someone? Someone? Iris looked at her. You should get out of here. Media's going to be all over this in an hour. What about you? I disappear, like always. Iris extended her hand. It was an honor. Claire shook it. Thank you. For everything. Iris nodded, then walked away. Disappeared into the crowd of agents and vehicles. Claire turned and saw Ruiz approaching. He looked exhausted but relieved. You're okay, he said. Yeah. I heard what you did, taking Delano down. He shook his head. You're either the bravest person I've ever met or the craziest. Maybe both, Ruiz laughed. Come on, let's get you out of here. What? The trials took 8 months, 17 defendants, hundreds of witnesses, thousands of documents. Claire testified 4 times. Each time she told the truth. Each time the defense tried to tear her apart. They called her bitter, opportunistic, a liar. But the evidence didn't lie. One by one, the defendants were convicted. Holloway, Whitmore, the generals, the contractors, and finally, Marcus Delano. The jury deliberated for 3 days. When they returned, the verdict was unanimous. Guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to life without parole. Claire was in the courtroom when it happened, sitting in the back, watching. Delano didn't react, didn't speak, just stood as they led him away in shackles. As he passed Claire's row, he glanced at her. She met his eyes. He looked away first. 6 weeks after the trial, Claire stood on the steps of the federal building. Cameras everywhere. Reporters shouting questions. She'd been asked to give a statement, to represent the victims, the witnesses, the people who'd risked everything. She stepped up to the microphone. The crowd quieted. My name is Claire Evans. A year ago, I was a nurse. Overworked, underpaid, invisible. Then I saved a man's life, and everything changed. She paused, looked at the cameras. I was fired, hunted, almost killed, but I'm still here. And so is the truth. Because the truth doesn't care about power. It doesn't care about money or influence or connections. It just is. Her voice strengthened. The people who tried to bury that truth are in prison now, where they belong. But this fight isn't over. There are others, people in positions of power who think they're untouchable, who think they can break the law and get away with it. She leaned forward. You can't. We're watching, and we won't stop. The crowd erupted. Questions, applause, cameras flashing. Claire stepped back from the microphone, walked inside. Ruiz was waiting. That was good. Thanks. You ready for what comes next? What comes next? Ruiz handed her a folder. Congressional hearing. They want you to testify about healthcare oversight reform, how to prevent this from happening again. Claire opened the folder, scanned the documents. When? 2 weeks. She closed the folder. Okay, The hearing was in the Capitol, a massive room, senators at a raised dais, cameras everywhere. Claire sat at a table, microphone in front of her, Ruiz beside her. The chairman gavelled the session to order. Ms. Evans, thank you for being here. We've all seen the news, read the reports, but we'd like to hear it in your own words. What happened, and how do we make sure it never happens again? Claire took a breath. Then she told the story. All of it. from the pawn shop to the trials. When she finished, the room was silent. One senator leaned forward. Ms. Evans, you've been through an ordeal most people couldn't imagine. What keeps you going? Claire thought about it. The people who didn't make it. The ones who tried to speak up and were silenced. I'm still here because they're not, and I owe it to them to finish what they started. The senator nodded. What would you say to someone in a similar situation? Someone who sees wrongdoing but is afraid to act? Claire looked directly at the camera. Act anyway. The system only works if people are willing to fight for it. And yeah, it's scary. You might lose your job, your reputation, maybe more. But silence costs more. Every time we look away, we give them permission to keep doing it. She paused. So don't look away. After the hearing, Claire walked out to find a crowd waiting. Not reporters. Regular people. Nurses, teachers, workers. They applauded as she passed. One woman, older, in scrubs, stepped forward. Thank you for what you did, for not giving up. Claire shook her hand. Thank you for being here. The woman smiled, tears in her eyes. We all need to know someone's fighting for us. Claire nodded, kept walking. Outside, the sun was setting. Ruiz waited by a car. Where to? He asked. Home. You have a home now? Getting one. Small place. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. Ruiz smiled. Good. They drove in silence for a while. Then Ruiz said, Voss is being released tomorrow. Full recovery. She wants to see you. I'll be there. And Cross. He's out of witness protection. Starting a new job. Consulting. Teaching people how to spot trafficking networks before they take root. He's good at that. So are you. Ruiz glanced at her. The position they offered you. Senior consultant. You taking it? Yeah. Someone has to make sure they follow through on the reforms. It's going to be a fight. Good. I'm used to those. Ruiz laughed. They pulled up to Claire's building. Small apartment complex. Nothing special. She got out. Thanks for the ride. Anytime. She walked to her door, unlocked it, stepped inside. The apartment was small. One bedroom. But it had a window with a view of the city. She stood there for a moment, looking out. Her phone buzzed. A text from Lena. Dinner tomorrow? My place? Claire smiled, typed back. Yes. What time? 7 o'clock. Don't be late. Claire set the phone down. Then she walked to her desk, sat down, opened her laptop. An email was waiting from the Federal Healthcare Oversight Committee. Her first assignment. She read it, then started typing. Hours passed. The city lights came on. The room grew dark. But Claire kept working because the fight wasn't over. It was just beginning. 3 months later, Claire stood in a hospital conference room, Silverbrook General, the place that had fired her. Except it wasn't Silverbrook General anymore. The federal government had seized it. New management, new board, new policies, and they'd asked Claire to consult on the transition. She walked through the halls, familiar but different. The ER had been renovated. The staff looked less exhausted, more hopeful. In the conference room, a dozen people waited. Administrators, doctors, nurses. One of them was Lena. They'd made her interim director of nursing. Ready? Lena whispered. Yeah. Claire stood at the front of the room. Thank you all for being here. I know the last year has been difficult, but we have an opportunity now to rebuild, to do things right. She pulled up a presentation, outlined new protocols, oversight measures, protections for staff who report problems. When she finished, one of the doctors raised his hand. Miss Evans, what happens if we implement all this and it still doesn't work? Claire looked at him. Then we fix it again, and again, until it does, because the alternative is going back to the way things were. And we all know where that leads. The doctor nodded. After the meeting, Claire and Lena walked through the ER together. You did good in there, Lena said. Thanks. You think it'll stick, the changes? I don't know, but I'm going to make sure someone's watching. They stopped at the entrance, the same doors Claire had walked through 1,000 times. You ever miss it? Lena asked. Being a nurse? Every day. But I can do more good this way. Lena hugged her. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too. They separated. Lena went back inside. Claire walked to her car. As she drove away, she looked at the hospital in the rearview mirror. It was just a building, but it represented something bigger, a system that could be broken and rebuilt, and she'd helped do both. That night, Claire sat in her apartment, reviewing files, preparing for another hearing. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Who is this? A voice. Mechanical. Distorted. Like the one that had helped her before, but different. Claire Evans, you've made quite a name for yourself. Her blood ran cold. Who is this? Someone who watched you bring down a vice president. Someone who's impressed. What do you want? To offer you a choice. Walk away now. Retire your crusade. Live a quiet life. Or keep digging. Keep exposing. And see how deep the corruption really goes. Claire's hand tightened on the phone. Is that a threat? It's a warning. Delano wasn't the top. Holloway wasn't the top. They were middle management. The people really running things? They're still out there. And they don't forgive. I'm not afraid of them. You should be, because they're watching you now, and they're deciding whether you're a threat worth eliminating. Let them decide. I'm not stopping. The voice laughed, soft, cold. I hoped you'd say that, because we need people like you, people who can't be bought, can't be scared, can't be broken. We? You'll find out. When you're ready. A pause. Check your email. I've sent you something. A case the feds buried. A trafficking ring operating inside the State Department. Bigger than Delano's network. And completely untouched. Why are you giving this to me? Because I want to see what you'll do with it. And because someone needs to burn it all down. The line went dead. Claire stared at her phone. Then she opened her email. A new message. No sender name, just a subject line. The real fight starts now. Attached, a single file. She downloaded it, opened it. Her breath caught. Names, photos, connections. A network spanning 3 continents. Government officials. Military officers. Corporate executives. All of them still in power, still operating, still untouchable. Claire's hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. She stood, walked to her window, looked out at the city. Somewhere out there, they were watching, waiting to see if she'd back down. She pulled out her phone, dialed Ruiz. He answered on the second ring. Claire, it's late. What's wrong? I need to see you tomorrow, first thing. Why? What happened? Claire looked at the file on her screen. We're not done, she said. Not even close. Ruiz arrived at Claire's apartment at 6 a.m. with 2 coffees and a look that said he hadn't slept. Show me, he said. Claire opened her laptop, pulled up the file. Ruiz read in silence. His face got paler with every page. State Department, he finally said. Defense attachés, embassy staff, Jesus Christ. It's bigger than Delano's network, more coordinated. They've been operating for at least a decade. Ruiz scrolled through the names, stopped on one. Richard Pembroke, Deputy Secretary of State. You know him? Everyone knows him. He's untouchable, connected to 3 administrations, both parties. Ruiz looked at her. If you go after him, you're not just fighting corruption, you're fighting the entire establishment. Then that's what we do. Claire, I'm not backing down. Not now. Not after everything. She stood, crossed her arms. These people thought they could keep operating because everyone's too scared to touch them. Well, I'm not scared anymore. Ruiz studied her, then he closed the laptop. Okay, but we do this smart. No more lone wolf operations. No more walking into traps. What do you suggest? We build a case, airtight, then we take it to someone who can't be compromised. Who? Ruiz pulled out his phone, made a call. It rang twice. It's Ruiz. I need a meeting. Today. No, this can't wait. A pause. Trust me on this. He hung up. Get dressed. We're going to see someone who's been waiting for a case like this her whole career. The office was in Arlington, a nondescript building. No signs. No markings. Inside, they were led to a conference room. A woman sat at the table, mid-50s, gray suit, sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Agent Ruiz," she said. "It's been a long time." "Director Castellano, thanks for seeing us." Director Elena Castellano was head of the Office of Inspector General for the State Department, the person responsible for investigating corruption within the agency. She gestured to the chairs. "Sit, and tell me why I should care about whatever you brought me at 6 in the morning." Claire set the laptop on the table, opened the file. Castellano read. Her expression didn't change, but her grip on the pen tightened. "Where did you get this?" "Anonymous source," Claire said, "but I verified the connections. Cross-referenced them with the evidence from the Delano case. It's real. If it's real, then Richard Pembroke has been running a trafficking operation under our noses for 10 years. Castellano set down the pen. "Do you understand what that means? What that would do to the department?" "I understand it would expose the truth. The truth destroys careers, reputations. It could destabilize international relationships." "Good," Claire said. "If those relationships were built on trafficking, they deserve to be destabilized." Castellano smiled. "It wasn't warm. You remind me of someone. Me. 30 years ago, before I learned how the game works. I'm not interested in playing games." "Then you're going to lose." "I've already won once." Castellano leaned back. "You took down a vice president. Congratulations." But Delano was reckless, sloppy. Pembroke isn't. He's careful. Every transaction has 5 layers of deniability. Every connection runs through cutouts and shell companies. You'll spend years building a case and come up with nothing. "Unless we have inside help," Ruiz said. Castellano's eyes sharpened. "What kind of help?" "Someone who knows how the operation works, who can testify." Ruiz looked at Claire. "Aaron Cross worked with these people. He knows their methods, their networks. Cross is in witness protection. Bring him out." "That's not how it works." "Then change how it works." Claire leaned forward. "You want to clean up the State Department? This is how. We give you Cross. You give us the authority to investigate." Castellano was quiet for a long moment. Then she picked up her phone. Dialed. "It's Castellano. I need authorization to pull someone from witness protection. Federal operative. Name's Aaron Cross." A pause. "I don't care. Get it done." She hung up. Looked at Claire. "You have 48 hours. If Cross can give me enough for a warrant, I'll open a formal investigation. If not, you walk away. Permanently." "Deal." Okay. Aaron Cross looked different. Beard, glasses, civilian clothes, but his eyes were the same. He sat across from Claire in a secure room, no windows, one door. "They said you needed to see me." "I need your help." Cross leaned back. "I'm done with this. I gave you everything I had, testified, put people in prison. I'm trying to build a new life." "And you should, but there's one more thing." She showed him the file. Cross read. His jaw tightened. "Pembroke. You know him." "I worked for him, before I figured out what he really was." Cross closed the laptop. "He's worse than Delano, smarter, more patient. He doesn't get his hands dirty. Can you testify against him?" "With what?" "I never saw him do anything illegal. He made sure of that." "But you know how the operation works. Knowing and proving are different things." "Then help me prove it." Claire leaned forward. "You said you were trying to build a new life. What kind of life is it if people like Pembroke keep destroying others?" Cross looked at her. "You're not going to let this go, are you?" "No." He smiled, tired. "All right, I'll help. But I want protection, real protection, not witness protection. A new identity, new country, whatever it takes." "Done." Cross pulled out a pen, started writing. "Pembroke operates through a front company, Meridian Global Logistics. They move shipments under diplomatic cover. No inspections, no oversight. If you can get access to their manifests, you'll have everything you need." "How do we get access?" "There's a warehouse, Baltimore Harbor. That's where they consolidate shipments before moving them overseas. It's guarded, but not heavily. They think diplomatic immunity protects them." "When's the next shipment?" Cross checked his phone, pulled up a calendar. 3 days, but you'll need a warrant." "Leave that to me." Director Castellano took Cross's testimony to a federal judge. Within 12 hours, they had a warrant. The raid happened at dawn. 30 federal agents, Claire and Ruiz among them. They surrounded the warehouse. The lead agent raised his fist, counted down. Then they breached. Inside, rows of containers, forklifts, workers scrambling. "Federal agents, nobody move!" Claire followed Ruiz through the warehouse, past confused workers, past stacks of crates. They found the office in the back. A man sat at a desk, mid-40s, suit, calm, too calm. "Can I help you?" he asked. Ruiz held up the warrant. "We're seizing all records, all shipments, everything." The man smiled. "I'm afraid that's not possible. These shipments are under diplomatic seal. You have no jurisdiction." "Actually, we do." Castellano walked in. She held up a document. "Executive order, signed this morning. All diplomatic shipments are subject to inspection when credible evidence of criminal activity exists. We have that evidence." The man's smile vanished. Outside, agents were opening containers. Inside, crates marked with diplomatic seals. They pried one open. Weapons. Hundreds of them. High-grade military. Another container. Cash. Shrink-wrapped bundles, a third, documents, falsified manifests, shipping routes, everything they needed. Claire stood in the middle of the warehouse and watched them catalog it all. Years of evidence, decades of corruption, all exposed in one morning. Ruiz walked over. "We got him." "Not yet. This connects to the operation, but not directly to Pembroke. Give it time. The documents will lead back. They always do." Polk. They did. It took 3 weeks. 3 weeks of accountants and lawyers and investigators combing through every page. But they found it. A transfer, $50 million, from Meridian Global to a holding company in Luxembourg, owned by Richard Pembroke's wife. Not enough to convict on its own, but enough for another warrant. They raided Pembroke's estate at dawn. Same strategy, same overwhelming force, but Pembroke wasn't there. His wife was. She sat in the living room, drinking coffee, like she'd been expecting them. "Where is he?" Castellano demanded. "I don't know. He left yesterday, said he had business overseas." "Where overseas?" "He didn't say." Castellano turned to one of the agents. "Get me his travel records, now." 10 minutes later, they had it. A private flight, departed yesterday evening, destination Dubai. No extradition treaty. Claire felt the rage building. "He ran." "Of course he ran." Castellano looked exhausted. Men like Pembroke always have an exit strategy. "So that's it? He wins?" "No. We freeze his assets. Issue an international warrant. Make sure he can never come back." "That's not justice." "It's the best we can do." Claire turned and walked out. She needed air. Outside, the sun was coming up. She stood on the lawn and tried to breathe. Her phone buzzed, the unknown number. She answered without thinking. "What?" The distorted voice. "Disappointed?" He got away. For now. But running isn't the same as escaping. A pause. "Pembroke's in Dubai, staying at the Burj Al Arab, penthouse suite." "How do you know that?" "Because I'm watching him, and I'm going to make sure he doesn't enjoy his retirement." "What are you going to do?" "Nothing illegal. Just make sure certain people know where he is. People he screwed over. People who don't care about extradition treaties." Claire's stomach turned. "You're going to get him killed." "I'm going to let nature take its course." "That's murder." "No, that's consequences." The voice hardened. "You wanted justice, Claire. Sometimes justice doesn't come from a courtroom." "This isn't what I wanted." "Then what did you want? A trial? A sentence? 20 years that becomes 10 with good behavior?" The voice laughed. "Men like Pembroke don't do time. They buy their way out. Always have, always will, unless someone stops them permanently. I'm not a killer. I know. That's why you're valuable. You operate in the light. Make the public care. Force the system to act. But the system has limits. I don't." The line went dead. Claire stared at her phone. Ruiz walked over. "Who was that?" "No one." He didn't believe her, but he didn't push. "Castellano wants to see us." "Inside." Bocoit. Back in the house, Castellano was on the phone, talking rapidly in a language Claire didn't recognize. She hung up. "Good news. Interpol just issued a red notice. If Pembroke sets foot in any country with an extradition treaty, he's ours. And if he doesn't? Claire asked. Then he lives the rest of his life in exile, cut off from everything he built, everyone he knows. That's not enough. It's what we have. Castellano's voice softened. I know it's frustrating, but you've already accomplished more than most people could in a lifetime. You took down a vice president, exposed a trafficking network, changed the system. The system's still broken. Then fix it. That's what you're good at. Castellano handed her a folder. Your next assignment, if you want it. Claire opened it. A proposal. Federal Task Force on Institutional Corruption. Oversight. Reform. Permanent position. You'd report directly to me, Castellano said. You'd have authority to investigate any federal agency, subpoena power, protection, and a team. What's the catch? There's no catch. But it's not glamorous. It's paperwork and hearings and fighting bureaucrats who hate you. You won't get headlines, won't get recognition, just the satisfaction of knowing you're making a difference. Claire looked at the folder, then at Ruiz. He shrugged. It's your call? She closed the folder. I'll do it? Castellano smiled. Good. You start Monday. 3 days later, Claire sat in a coffee shop with Lena, catching up. So you're officially a Fed now, Lena said. Officially a pain in the ass, there's a difference. Lena laughed. I'm proud of you. You know that? I know. The hospital's doing better. The changes you recommended, they're working. Morale's up, staff retention's up, even patient outcomes are improving. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Lena stirred her coffee. Can I ask you something? Yeah. Are you happy? Claire thought about it. I don't know if happy's the right word, but I'm doing something that matters. That's enough. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. Breaking. Former Deputy Secretary Richard Pembroke found dead in Dubai hotel. Claire's hands went cold. She clicked the article. Heart attack. No foul play suspected. Body discovered by hotel staff. But at the bottom, a detail. Security footage showed an unidentified woman entering his suite hours before his death. She left 30 minutes later. Authorities were investigating. Claire set the phone down. Lena was watching her. What's wrong? Nothing. Just work. But it wasn't nothing. And Claire knew it. That night her phone rang. The unknown number. She answered. You killed him. I told you. I don't kill people. I just create circumstances. That's the same thing. Is it? Pembroke had a heart condition, public record. He was under stress, running from prosecution, living in a foreign country. His heart gave out. Tragic, but natural. What did you do? I made sure he understood what was coming, that the people he betrayed were looking for him, that he'd never be safe, never sleep soundly, that every knock on the door could be his last. The voice paused. Stress does terrible things to the body. Claire felt sick. You tortured him. I gave him what he gave others, fear, uncertainty, the knowledge that justice was coming. This isn't justice. No, it's closure, which is more than his victims ever got. I didn't want this. I know, but sometimes what we need and what we want are different things. The voice softened. You're a good person, Claire. You fight clean, follow the rules. That's why people trust you. But the world needs both of us. Someone in the light, someone in the shadows. Who are you? Someone who used to believe the system could save us, before I learned it was designed to protect the powerful. A pause. But you're changing that. Keep going, and I'll make sure the ones who slip through your fingers don't slip away. The line went dead. Claire sat in the dark for a long time. Then she deleted the number, turned off her phone, went to bed. Some things she didn't need to know. But 6 months later, Claire stood in front of Congress again, testifying about institutional reform. The hearing had been going for 3 hours. Senators asking questions, challenging her recommendations, defending their turf. But Claire didn't back down. You're asking us to give your task force unprecedented authority, one senator said. What's to stop you from abusing it? Oversight, transparency, public accountability. Claire leaned forward. But mostly, the fact that I've seen what happens when people abuse power. and I have no interest in becoming what I fought against. That's a nice sentiment, but power corrupts. Only if you let it. Claire looked around the room. I was a nurse. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to matter. But I saved a man's life. And that one decision changed everything. Not because I was special, but because I refused to look away. She paused. Every person in this room has that same choice. Look away or act. Protect the status quo or demand better. And if you choose to look away, then you're complicit in what happens next. The room was silent. The committee chair cleared his throat. Thank you, Ms. Evans. We'll take your recommendations under advisement. The hearing adjourned. Outside, reporters swarmed. Questions. Cameras. Claire pushed through. No comment. Not today. Ruiz was waiting by the car. That was something. Thanks. You think they'll approve the funding? I don't know, but I said what needed to be said. They drove back to the office. Claire's office, 10th floor, federal building, a team of 12 investigators working under her, people who believed what she believed, that the system could be fixed, that accountability mattered. She walked through the bullpen. Her team barely looked up, too busy working. Good. In her office, a stack of files waited. New cases, new leads, new corruption to expose. She sat down, started reading. A knock on the door. Aaron Cross stood there, clean-shaven now. New glasses. He looked healthier. Got a minute? He asked. Always? Come in. He sat. I wanted to say thank you for everything, the new identity, the fresh start. I'm teaching now, training investigators to spot trafficking networks. That's good. You're making a difference. So are you. Cross gestured to the files on her desk. How many cases are you working? 18, active. Another 30 in preliminary stages. You're going to burn out. Probably, but not today. Claire smiled. Someone has to do it. Yeah, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm not. I have a team. I mean beyond that. You need people who understand what you've been through, who've seen what you've seen. Cross pulled out a card, handed it to her. Support group. Federal witnesses. People who testified and survived. Meets every Thursday. Claire looked at the card. You go? Yeah, it helps to talk to people who get it. I'll think about it. Do more than think. Cross stood. You saved my life, Claire. Let someone else help save yours. He left. Claire set the card on her desk, stared at it, then she went back to work. That Thursday, Claire walked into a community center in Alexandria, followed signs to a conference room. Inside, 8 people sat in a circle, different ages, different backgrounds. One of them was Aaron Cross. He smiled when she entered. Glad you came. Claire sat, felt awkward, out of place. A woman across the circle spoke. Older, kind eyes. You must be Claire. Aaron told us about you. He did? Said you were the bravest person he'd ever met. Claire looked at Cross. He shrugged. The woman continued. I'm Margaret. I testified against a human trafficking ring 5 years ago. Lost my job, my family. Spent 2 years in hiding, but I'm still here. One by one, they went around the circle, each person telling their story, what they'd lost, what they'd survived, why they kept going. When it came to Claire, she didn't know what to say. I'm Claire. I'm a nurse. Or I was. Now I'm something else. I don't know what yet. Margaret smiled. You're a fighter. That's what you are. I don't feel like one. None of us do. But we're here. That's what matters. The sessions became a routine. Every Thursday, Claire showed up, listened, shared when she felt ready. It helped. More than she expected. She learned she wasn't alone, that other people carried the same weight, the same nightmares, the same determination to keep going. One night, after a session, Margaret pulled her aside. You're doing important work, she said, but don't forget to take care of yourself. You can't fight for others if you're falling apart. I'm fine. You're surviving. That's not the same as fine. Margaret squeezed her hand. Promise me you'll find something that makes you happy. Not just purposeful. Happy. Claire promised. But 6 months later, Claire stood in a hospital. Not Silverbrook General. A different one. Smaller. Community clinic. She'd started volunteering, 2 shifts a month, going back to what she loved. Nursing. It felt good. Being hands-on again, helping patients, teaching residents. One night, a man collapsed in the waiting room. Chest pain, difficulty breathing. Claire didn't hesitate. She moved, started treatment. Within minutes, paramedics arrived. They stabilized him, took him to the ER. He survived. Afterward, a young nurse approached Claire. "That was amazing. How did you know what to do?" "Practice, experience, paying attention. I want to be like you." Claire smiled. "Then start by caring more about the patient than the paperwork. The rest will follow." 1 year after taking down Pembroke, Claire received an invitation, a ceremony, the Medal of Valor, for her actions exposing federal corruption. She almost didn't go, but Ruiz convinced her, "You earned this. Let people honor you." The ceremony was in Washington, packed auditorium, cameras, press. Claire stood on stage while a general read the citation. For extraordinary courage in the face of danger, for unwavering commitment to justice, for actions that exposed corruption at the highest levels of government, we honor Claire Evans. They placed the medal around her neck. The crowd stood, applauded. Claire looked out at them, saw Ruiz, Voss, Cross, Lena, Margaret and the others from the support group, people who'd fought beside her, who'd believed in her, who'd refused to give up. She stepped to the microphone. "Thank you. But I didn't do this alone. I had help from people who risked everything. Some of them are here today. Some couldn't be." She paused, gathered herself. "A year ago, I was nobody, just a nurse, overworked, invisible. Then I made a choice. I didn't look away, and that choice changed my life. It nearly ended it, but it also gave me purpose." She looked at the camera. "If you're watching this and you see something wrong, at work, in your community, anywhere, don't wait for someone else to fix it. You fix it. Speak up, stand up, fight. Because change doesn't come from the powerful. It comes from people like us, people who refuse to be silent." Her voice strengthened. "They'll try to scare you, discredit you, silence you. But they can't stop all of us. And if enough of us stand together, we don't just expose corruption, we end it." The applause was deafening. Come on. After the ceremony, Claire stood outside, breathing in the cool night air. Ruiz found her. "That was a hell of a speech. Thanks. You really believe it? That we can change things?" "I have to, because if I don't, then what was it all for?" Ruiz nodded. "Fair point." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Claire said, "I'm thinking about writing a book, about what happened, so people understand how corruption works, how to fight it." "You should. People need to hear it. Will you help?" "Of course." Claire smiled. "Good, because I'm terrible at writing." They laughed. 2 years later, the book came out. Breaking Silence: One Nurse's Fight Against Corruption. It was a bestseller within weeks. Claire did interviews, spoke at universities, trained activists and whistleblowers. The task force she led had exposed 14 more cases of institutional corruption, recovered over $3 billion in stolen assets, sent 47 people to prison. The work continued. But Claire had found balance. She still worked, still fought, but she also lived. She bought a small house, adopted a dog, started painting on weekends. She went to therapy, dealt with the trauma, the nightmares, the hypervigilance. Slowly, she healed. One evening, she sat on her porch, watching the sunset, the dog asleep at her feet. Her phone rang. Lena. Hey yourself, how's retirement treating you?" Claire laughed. "I'm not retired, just working normal hours." "That's basically retirement for you." Lena paused. "Listen, I'm getting married." "What? When did this happen?" 2 weeks ago. He proposed. I said yes. We're doing it small. Just close friends. I want you to be my maid of honor." Claire felt tears prick her eyes. "I'd be honored." "Good. Because you owe me. For all those times I covered your shifts." "Fair." They talked for another hour, laughed, caught up, made plans. When Claire hung up, she felt lighter. The wedding was beautiful. Small ceremony, outdoor venue, close friends and family. Claire stood beside Lena, watched her say her vows, watched her start a new chapter. At the reception, Ruiz found her. "You look happy." "I am." "Good. You deserve it." They danced, talked, celebrated. Later, Cross approached. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" "Sure." They stepped outside. "I'm leaving," Cross said. "Going overseas, new assignment, training international investigators." "That's great." Yeah, but I wanted to say thank you. One last time. You gave me my life back." "You gave me mine too." Cross smiled, extended his hand. Claire took it, then pulled him into a hug. "Be safe," she said. "You too." He walked away, disappeared into the night. Claire stood there, looking up at the stars. 5 years after saving Aaron Cross's life, Claire stood in front of a graduating class at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. New recruits, fresh faces, eager and nervous. She'd been asked to give the keynote address. She stood at the podium, looked out at them. "You're about to enter a profession that will test you in ways you can't imagine. You'll see corruption, injustice, things that make you want to quit." She paused. "Don't quit. Because the moment you give up, they win. The people who abuse power, who believe the rules don't apply to them, they win when good people decide it's not worth the fight." She leaned forward. "I was a nurse. I wasn't trained for this, wasn't prepared, but I saw something wrong and I acted. And that decision changed everything. Not just for me, for thousands of people who were suffering in silence." Her voice carried across the room. "You have that same power. Every day you put on that badge, you have a choice. Look away or act. Protect the powerful or protect the vulnerable. And the choice you make defines not just your career, but who you are as a person." She straightened. "So choose carefully, because the world is watching, and it's counting on you to be better than the people who came before." The room erupted in applause. Claire stepped down from the podium. As she walked out, one of the recruits stopped her. Young woman, mid-20s. "Ms. Evans, I just wanted to say, you're the reason I joined. I read your book, and I knew this was what I wanted to do." Claire smiled. "Then do it right, and don't let anyone stop you." "I won't." Well, that night, Claire sat in her home office, looking at the wall. Photos, articles, medals, reminders of everything she'd accomplished, but also photos of the people she'd lost, the battles she'd fought, the scars she carried. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. She hesitated, then opened it. "You changed the world, Claire. Don't ever forget that." No name, no signature. But she knew who it was. The person in the shadows, still watching, still working. She typed back, "So did you." The reply came instantly. "We're not done yet, neither of us." Claire smiled, set the phone down. Then she opened her laptop, started writing, a new case, a new fight, because the work was never finished, the corruption never fully defeated. But as long as people like Claire kept showing up, kept speaking up, kept refusing to back down, there was hope, and hope was enough. 10 years after walking into that pawn shop, Claire Evans stood on a stage at the United Nations. She'd been invited to speak about anti-corruption measures, about protecting whistleblowers, about institutional reform. The room was filled with delegates from 100 countries. She stood at the podium, looked out at them. "My name is Claire Evans, I'm a nurse, and I'm here to tell you that one person can make a difference." She told her story, all of it. The pawn shop, the firing, the hunt, the trials, the reforms. "I didn't have power. I didn't have money. I didn't have connections. All I had was a choice, to do what was right, even when it was hard." She paused. Let that sink in. Every person in this room has that same choice. You can maintain the systems that protect corruption, or you can tear them down and build something better. Her voice grew stronger. "I'm asking you to choose better, because the people you serve, the nurses, the teachers, the workers, the vulnerable, they're counting on you, and they deserve leaders who won't look away." The room was silent. Then slowly, one person stood. then another, then another. Within seconds, the entire assembly was on their feet, applauding. Claire stood there, overwhelmed, grateful. She'd started as nobody, a tired nurse in a pawn shop, just trying to help. And now she stood before the world, proof that one person, one decision, one moment of courage could change everything. After the speech, she walked outside. The sun was setting over New York City. Her phone rang. Lena. I watched it online. You were amazing. Thanks. How does it feel, being a hero? Claire thought about it. I'm not a hero, I just refuse to be a bystander. That's what makes you a hero. They talked for a few more minutes, then said goodbye. Claire stood on the steps of the UN, watching people walk past, living their lives. Somewhere out there, someone was facing an impossible choice, seeing something wrong, deciding whether to speak up or stay silent. She hoped they'd choose courage, because the world needed more people willing to fight. And if her story helped even one person find that strength, then every scar, every sleepless night, every moment of fear had been worth it. Claire took a breath, smiled. Then she walked down the steps and into the city. The fight wasn't over. It never would be. But she was ready. She'd always been ready. She just hadn't known it yet.